Why are you walking around the thing? Girl, the phone right there. It's two of them.
In the ring.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. She's fired. Already.
Well, the thing is, too, it takes a minute.
Is it live? Okay.
Here for me.
Okay. All right. So we're live now. Yay. We're live. Yay. Thank you. Look, we have a stand-in camera person. We have to train her a little bit. You know.
So, you get right on that, Jana.
Okay. Welcome to Conversations and Cocktails with Kelda and Krew podcast. We added one. Okay. So this is season 2, Elevation, episode 3.a, breast cancer awareness. And there's a whole rhyme and reason to why we added one. Because remember, I told you all at the last one, we're not doing another podcast until December. Well, that changed. And it changed because of this young lady here, Miss Jennifer. This is Jennifer. So Jennifer is our special guest, along with Lisa, our special guest.
Welcome.
And you know our panel is Janine, Jana, Barb, and Monica. Barb and Monica couldn't be with us today. Aww. So it's okay. They have good family stuff going on.
Right.
So it's good
That's
stuff.
right.
It's good stuff.
Yes.
And this again was kind of impromptu. So it's okay. And you'll find out why soon. I want to first say I want to do an apology. So let's do our opening shot. You know, we start off with a shot to get things going. Jana Banana. Mm-hmm. Girl, don't you roll your eyes. So to a good podcast, good conversation, and food after that you all won't get. So sorry. Cheers.
Oh,
look, chase away.
You got it clinky, clinky.
Yeah.
Yes. This is real food.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That's strong.
That's
and
yummy.
So, thank you. So our signature cocktail for this podcast is the prickly pear cactus mango margarita spritzer.
Sounds yummy.
It's a mouthful of stuff, right? So let me tell you real quickly what's in it. You do what you please. So normally when I make the prickly pear margarita, I use the actual prickly pear fruit, but I don't think it's the season for it. And sometimes they're not good. Sometimes they are. When I don't use those, I do use this really good prickly pear puree that I found. So that's what I use. Then I use the mango juice, tequila, triple sec, simple syrup, and fresh lemon lime mixed juice. So that's the ingredients. So now.
So delicious.
Thank you. This is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. I tasted it at a restaurant one time and I've been making it ever since. Yeah. So I just want to publicly apologize to Barb and Janine, because this conversation should have happened before now. And with you, especially with you all being on the panel, it should have happened now. But Jennifer inspired us to do this, so it's okay. We're having a conversation now. And so just a little background, because I don't want to talk too long about it, but we met Jennifer October 4th, I think it was, at our fall fest at Danielle's house. And so October, I wear pink every day for October. I've been doing that for several years now. And I happen to have on one of my breast cancer shirts, and Jennifer saw it and asked me a couple of questions about it. And that's how we found out some things about her. I'll let her tell her story. But we found out some things about her, and then we were like, we need to have this conversation on the podcast. So that's how this all came about.
Yeah, they bum rushed me.
Right.
Sounds about right.
Right. So quickly, a little bit of background about me and pink and breast cancer awareness. I'm going to try to make this quick. Oh, I should have lit something. But so in 2012, I think is when it started. One of my best friends, Venetia, was on her way to get a mammogram. And she asked me, oh, have you got? I was like, nah, I ain't getting no mammogram. Never got one. Never had one. And she was like, oh, no, sissy, you got to get one, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. So schedule a mammogram, have it, and they see something. And when I tell you, and I mean, you all know from experience, and I wasn't even diagnosed with it, but just these steps that you go through. And so they repeated it. And then I had to have a biopsy. And it was just so much emotion. I didn't tell the boys because I wanted to wait until I knew something for sure, because there's no need to stress nobody out.
Right.
So the only people that knew were my mother and Jerome. And, he was trying to be upset. And I was like, no, you don't get to be upset. Like, no. We just going through tests. Like, no, I'm not accepting that. So I went through all this testing, all this stuff. We found out it was calcifications. Okay, great. But I worked in surgery at Evanston Hospital for almost 7 years. So I knew the top breast cancer surgeons there. So I was talking to my doctor before I found out for sure if I had it or not. I said, I'm not married to my breasts. We can cut these off and I can get some better ones and all that stuff. So that's how I'm approaching this. And I'm thinking, this might be my path because of my mouth, because of the connections I have and all these things. So I was starting to try to say, okay, I'm gonna be okay, and that's when I aligned myself with pink again. So I was like, I want people, when they see me, they think about pink, they see pink and they think about breast cancer awareness and they go get the mammograms. So that was my whole thinking within this little bit of time getting this diagnosis, or not getting the diagnosis. But I was, I met with Dr. Winchester Jr., DJ. Okay. And so I asked my doctor and I said, well, who do you recommend? And she was like, oh, DJ, which I was like, don't say it. Nothing. I know DJ Winchester personally. Like, you don't have to tell me nothing. I'm going to him. Like, I don't need to hear about anybody else. And so I met with him, and even after I got the diagnosis, it was just calcifications, whatever. We have to watch it, whatever. They put the little clip in, all that stuff. And I said, if we need to do this proactively, like take them off, take everything, like I'm okay. And he was like, Kelda, no, we don't need to do that. You're fine. Just keep getting your mammograms, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't have to do that. But in the meantime, I'm thinking I gotta be a big mouth for this, because from what I know, breast cancer is the mother of many, not all, but many other cancers follow behind breast cancer. And so if you're starting there and you get that stuff taken care of early, it can maybe stop all, other things from happening. So that's why I'm like big on it. Like, again, I wear pink every day in October. I have shirt. If it's not a pink shirt, it's a shirt with the message on it, everywhere I go. And so that's just my story and about me aligning with pink. And then it became such a part of me that pink is me now. You know what I mean? It's not just about breast cancer awareness. It's about me and my personality and all that. But I've also incorporated orange, and that was kind of by accident. It happened, but it works because pink and orange look really nice together. So I had even bought clothes that were pink and orange before I even thought about it, so it was kind of happening. So that's just my story. And again, it's not with a diagnosis, but with knowing the stress of going through the steps and trying to tell your family, decide who to tell, what to tell, and all those things. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And so to have conversations and just to have testing, and so just a little bit more, and then I'm going to let one of you all, whoever wants to go. But in going through that, I got everything checked. I was like, okay, I feel this here. Let's check this. Let's check this. Like, I was checking everything and found out I had a parotid tumor. So I had to have surgery to have this tumor removed. And the surgery I had is like a facelift. So they cut from here and came, all around here. And thank God it wasn't cancerous. But I'm just speaking to, when you know something's wrong with your body, get it checked out.
Correct.
Do those. I even now have an alarm on my phone that reminds me every month, do a self-exam. So I've started doing those, because, it's a lot. And a lot of it is the food and other things. So
Deborah Wells says, thanks for your transparency, sis.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, so the biggest piece of this is, I'm sorry, I used to carry my phone in my bra.
But that's the story you told me.
Yeah, I used to carry my phone in my bra. And so we were at Danielle's house, Dacia's house, and I was telling the story because nobody knew. And so when I finally started talking about it, they were like, what, you went through all this and didn't say anything? And I was like, I couldn't, And so I was talking, and so as I'm talking, I stick my phone back in after all this, I'm sticking my phone still in my bra. And Danielle was like, wait a minute. which breast did you say? And I was like, oh, it's my right one. And she was like, the same one you just put your phone in your, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. And so I stopped. I stopped immediately. Like, I don't even like to talk on my phone to my ear anymore. Like, I use my earpiece or I'm like on speakerphone or whatever because of all these rays and stuff. And even when I see women on the street, if I have the opportunity, I will stop them. If I see them put their phone in their bra and say, please, please take this out. And I said, just give me 5 minutes and let me quickly tell you what happened to me and why you shouldn't do it. So it's important to me to, to get that message out and to make sure we're aware of what we're doing. Little things can build up and all of that. So with all of that said, Janine, do you want to go, or Jen, do you want to go and just tell you? You don't have. You can tell as much as you want or as little as you want if you want to say anything. If not, we can just kind of have a general conversation.
I'll guess first.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So yes, I'm Jennifer. I met Kelda a few weeks ago at the Fall Fest that our mutual friend Maria invited me to the party. And while we were there, I saw Kelda, like she said, with this T-shirt on. And I was like, oh, cute T-shirt. And I said, are you a survivor? Like, do you? And she said, no. But then she told me the story of like what, she had experienced. And then she looked at me, she's like, are you? And I said, yes, 6 months. And she said, what? And I said, yes, just 6 months ago in April, I had my surgery.
And we were all baffled, like,
right?
6 months ago? Like,
yeah. So and so I just actually had my official 6-month appointment a week ago after I met you and before this.
Okay.
So my story was I've been getting mammograms since you could every year, all the time. I get a mammogram, I get the ultrasound, dense breast tissue, the whole thing every time for years since I was 40 in, early 40s. And right before COVID, in one of my mammograms, they saw something and then they were like, okay, well, you have to come back, let's check it. They didn't say anything about biopsy. They were just like, we'll look at it. We'll keep it monitored. So you come back every 6 months. So I was like, okay, a little freaked out, whatever. Yeah. And it was also pandemic time. So I was like, okay.
Double freaked out.
So I was like, okay, so I was doing that for 6 months, for 2 years, every 6 months. So that's like 4 of them within those 2 years. And the last one, which was just this past December of 2024, I did my annual and then they were like, oh, there's something, we see something. And in my head, I was like, oh, that thing that was there before must be the same thing, and maybe it moved or changed or did something, but I didn't feel so freaked out about it because I was kind of like, eh. And then I was like, okay, well, here we go again. Like I gotta be doing this 6 month thing. And then they were like, no, it's the other side. It's the other breast. God. And I was like, okay. And then they were like, well, this time you need a biopsy. So that's when I completely freaked out. And I was like, okay. So I was nervous about that. I was freaked out. And this was all in December of 2024. And that's
such an around the holidays thing to go through. That biopsy is so uncomfortable.
The worst. Yes. So that was like early December when I did the annual, and then I scheduled the biopsy for, it was after Christmas because it was like Christmas happened and then I scheduled, I think it was like December 27th, like before New Year, after Christmas. I did the biopsy. That was terrible. That was horrible. Yeah. And then waited, and then they came back and they were like, within a week or just a few days, actually, they ran the report and they were like, well, no, it is breast cancer. It's DCIS. So I was diagnosed with DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, meaning that it's contained in your milk duct, meaning that it's not spread anywhere, that it's contained, and it's just like the beginning stages. So I was like, oh, okay, like
They like to
good
call that
cancer,
stage
but
zero.
like
Yeah.
good cancer. I guess.
Right.
So right away, and it's wild, again, my first time experiencing this. And I go to the doctor all the time, do things. They were like, right away, move fast. They're like,
Yes.
first line of treatment is surgery. And I was like, okay.
And what kind of surgery?
Right,
Like,
yeah,
what
what
are you
kind
saying?
of surgery?
Yeah.
And, and again, when you're in this cancer world, they don't ever really tell you anything. They're always like, we don't know until we have the surgery. We won't know until you have the treatment.
that's
We won't know
stressful.
until you do this. Like, they can't ever really pinpoint.
Say to you that yes, this is where everything is,
Right.
and it's just going to be right there.
That's
Right.
terrible.
Yeah.
So
It's
so
torture.
basically they're like, oh, it's DCIS, it is stage 0, it's here, in this area, we'll just, take this part out, you'll get a lumpectomy, you won't be able to see, where it is, where it's located. And I was like, okay, but the only thing they said was like, yeah, it's DCIS and stage 0, but it's big. Like it's wide, right? Like it's chill, but it's doing a lot.
Right. Right.
And so I was just like, okay, so by the time by that time it happened, I did the biopsy. So like in mid-January, I had the appointment with the surgeon, talked to her about, what the next steps were. But I was hesitant. I mean, granted, I knew I had cancer, but I was also like, okay, I have all these other things going on. And again, per usual, like we're kind of like, okay, well, let me get all these things together before I get to do this, right?
Yes.
But it was more so not so much for other people to get things together, but just to kind of ground myself and empower myself and to be strong, to be able to do the surgery, the treatment, or whatever it was that was going to come. All I knew in the beginning was surgery, and I've never ever had a surgery.
Wow.
I have 2 children. Even with that, I never I had no stitches. I never broke a bone. You know what I mean? So I was feeling some kind of
lot.
way.
This is a lot.
So and so with that being said as well, kind of I had just lost my mom. It had been 2 years, right? Like in 2023, I lost her. So it's been 2 years. And so and it was in March and, December. And then so like all these things were coming up. I was like, okay, I have to kind of get through this grief and get myself prepared and then my son was going to graduate college in May. So I was like, okay, like what is surgery gonna look like? What's like I can't miss his graduate. Like there were so many things that were on the horizon that I was just a little hesitant as to how am I going to squeeze this all in this timeline? You know what I mean? And again, like I said, going back to like my mom, is that before my mom's passing, my mom had dementia. It was a wild ride.
Wow.
So when she passed, it was
that part.
So when she passed, yes, very traumatic, very sad, but it was also a sense of relief in the sense of all the struggles that she was going through and what we were doing to care for her during that time. So then, you get to kind of a point in your life, you're like, oh, phew, okay, settle in kind of thing. And then cancer
boom.
Yes.
And so when you talk about, like, I know everybody has a theory as to what causes cancer or how'd you get it or what'd you do, but my first was like, there's not going to be any shame or guilt.
Right.
We're not going to talk about like, oh, I could have done whatever. But I will. The one thing that I will say is stress.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone carries that no matter what you eat, no matter what you drink, no matter whatever, there's like some level. So I feel like that was a big contributor to, what had happened to my diagnosis.
To interrupt you really quick, I have a thing that I say, and I've started saying over the past like 5-6 years. If it impacts my organs in a negative way, I can't do it. whatever it is,
If
whether
I
it's
feel
a
it in my
conversation,
body,
if I start to feel it, I can't do it.
Right.
And I feel stuff now.
No,
like I'm
same.
more in tune. You know what I mean? So I start to feel stuff. When I start to feel stuff, I can't talk to you. I don't want to see you.
Right.
I can't do you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing personal. I don't wish you no harm. None of that. I just can't have you in my space bringing that negative energy to my organs. Because I'm older now.
Mm-hmm.
And the stress hits different when you're older.
No,
you know what I mean? So
for sure.
yeah. I would have to agree. What
so
happened?
Kimberly Frazier says, I was diagnosed with DCIS also.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lumpectomy also and 12 radiation treatments.
Mm-hmm.
She just told me that last week. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Thank you.
So similar to that, I had a lumpectomy, and then I had 21 radiation treatments.
Oh God.
But once the pathology report, radiation and the medication I'm on now is all for reoccurrence. Once I did the surgery, it was removed. The pathology report said that there was no more cancer in the area, as well as nowhere else. Like it didn't, there wasn't any more in a part of my body. So, so then I did the surgery in April. In May, my son graduated college.
Oh my God.
Came back end of May, started my 21 rounds of treatment.
Oh my gosh.
And then,
and look at you now.
Right. Yeah. And then
this
took
is
a
recent.
break.
You know what I mean? Like 6 months.
I know every once in a while I'm like, because when you're going through it,
you don't pay attention.
You're like doing it, it's happening, you got to do this or whatever. But now that I'm like slowly on the other side, every once in a while I'm like, girl, like you just exactly. And that with you doing that, Kelda, that is my number one thing. Ask any of my friends. I'm always like, good job, Jennifer.
Yes.
Good job. I'm so proud of you, Jennifer. You did this. Like that's the energy that I'm like that I have to continue to go on.
Absolutely.
Then took a break, and then we went on a family vacation that was planned before the whole cancer anyway came. And then did all that and came back and here, and it's been 6 months.
And we're glad you're here.
Yeah, it's definitely been a ride. It's definitely been a ride. And I will say another thing, I guess, into part of this is kind of going a little, but like in the sense of like the energy, like protecting your energy.
Yeah, we need to light one of those Palo Santos incense.
Is that so like after my I'm a yoga teacher. I don't like do it like, but I have teacher
we all
training.
Like, can we come together for some yoga?
I have teacher training, and I've done meditation training. Prior to So with that, so these are also the kind of thing, I've always just been doing these things throughout my life. And then prior to, when I was diagnosed, I was like, oh my gosh. And I've always been interested in Reiki. I don't know if you guys know about Reiki, which is like healing energy. Yeah. So
is that the chakra?
The chakra,
yes.
So I've always been interested, thought about it, whatever. And, I was figuring, dealing with diagnosis, what I was going to do, like what my plan was, and all those things. And then I get an email from my old yoga school, that I used to go, and they're like, oh, we're having this like Reiki trainee thing, workshop.
Wow.
And I was like,
look at the stars aligning.
Right. So I was like, oh, okay, I have to do this.
Yes.
I just have to. So I did that prior to my surgery. So I did that like in March.
Okay. Way to bring that good energy in.
Which was amazing. Yes. And I feel like with all the things like the grounding and trying to keep it together and helped. And then I did my surgery and then went through my radiation treatment, and then just went back like after that, just in September for the workshop too, for the next level of training. And I will say that has, I feel for me personally, everyone has their own thing, has helped so much in like being grounded and, staying even keel and not worried about all the outside, you know, things and stuff. And I have a great like support group. My friends have been amazing. And you talked about that before. I think it was another thing that we talked about is like, how do you tell people, right? Like when you said like you didn't tell anybody. And I said, it's interesting because I was like, if I don't tell people and I hold this in, it's going to mess me up.
Yeah.
It's going to mess me up.
And trust me, I went through that because, again, it was just my mother. So it was my mother, my brother, and my cousin, because my cousin went with us to the biopsy. And it was torture.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at my kids every day, and they don't know what I'm going through. And that's what I couldn't. And maybe the passing of my mom during this time, and she wasn't here then, because she would have been the first person that I would have talked to and done the most. And because she wasn't here, I was like, I have to tell people, and I can't sit around with everybody during this and not say anything because I do like to talk, you know, and I like to tell people, you know, I mean, I keep things close to my heart, but you share good stuff.
So I just started to just tell people. I was like, okay, like it's kind of was like rip the Band-Aid off. I was like, I have to tell people. And so I was waiting on the results from the biopsy, and it was going to be it was New Year's Eve, and one of my girlfriends has an annual, you know, party, and we were going to go to that as a family. And I hadn't heard the results yet. Like I didn't know yet on New Year's Eve. And so I was kind of like, oh, like, do I go to the party and wait till after the new year? Do I want to know this diagnosis before the new year or after the new year? Right. And then I decided, I was like, no, I want to know now. Before the end of this year, so that I could move on into the new year with
a plan
and a new attitude, right? Yes. And so that's when I called. You know, they hadn't called me. I called the hospital. They were like, hold on. They're like, we'll call you back. They called me back, and they were like, oh yeah, you're diagnosed with DCIS. And I was like, what? And so right away, I just, you know, I started to cry. I was freaking out. I told my husband, I have 2 children, adult children in their 20s, and they were like, you know, they knew that I had done the biopsy and all those things as well. So it wasn't, I mean, it was a shock, but they knew what I was going through, you know, and they were all very, you know, kind and compassionate and understanding. And then we were supposed to go to the party, and then they were like, do we really have to go?
Right.
Can we hang out?
Can we just,
like,
we just love on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And I said, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, now I got to tell my friends.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to this party, but I can't just be like, oh, no, I'm not going to a party. You know, that's not really my vibe.
My diagnosis.
So the friend that was having the party, I called her, and because I was also bringing something, and I was like, hey, I'm supposed to, you know, bring something. And I'm like, we're not going to party. And then she's like, oh, why? And I just couldn't keep it in. And I was like, and I was just crying and crying. Okay. And she's like, Jen. And I was like, I have cancer. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then I explained it all to her. And then she's like, okay. She's like, I'm not going to say anything. And then I said, I know it's a lot for you to hold, and you're going to see all the other rest of our friends. I said, you don't have to tell anybody. I said, but if you do, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't mind. It's okay. Yeah. We're going to move through this together.
Because if you have real good friends, they're not where you are, but they're right there with you.
Right,
you know what I mean? So they're feeling
the
something.
Best of friends. The best of friends.
Yeah.
And so I told her, she held on to it, and if you're gonna tell anybody, she'd be the one. And she held on to it. And everybody else, you know, after the fact, everybody was like, why don't you come to the party? Or, you know, as time went on. And they were like, oh, she kept that secret so hard. They're like, where's Jennifer? And they're like, I don't understand why she's not here. You know, just kept riding there. Right. And she was like, she made the decision to stay home. You know?
Leave her alone.
And nobody questions. So, and then after that, like I told her, and she knew, and then her and I talked about it. And then I was like, okay, I got to tell at least 2 people a week. 2 people a week. That was my plan. And I'm like, I have to at least tell 2 people a week, you know, to let them know what's going on individually. So then I would just text people, hey, how you doing? I feel like I want to chat with you. Miss ya. When's a good time? Let me know.
Okay.
And then I would set up dates and phone calls with people. And they'd
Love
be
that.
like, okay. I mean, I did that with my brothers. I did that with all of my best friends and family. And then individually, I talked to every one of them and
Wow, that's a
explained.
lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It was a lot of pressure, but it felt.
Why didn't you just do so? I'm not trying to be funny, but why
No,
didn't
no,
you
no.
just do phone calls? What made you?
No, I
wanna,
did do phone calls.
Oh, it was just it was phone calls that you were telling-
Individual phone calls.
Oh,
to
okay. I
people.
thought you were saying you were reaching out and having like meeting with them to.
No,
talk.
I was
Oh,
reaching
okay.
out ahead of time to be
Okay.
like, hey, can we talk on the phone?
Okay.
To make time to
Okay.
talk on the phone.
Okay.
Because I didn't want you to be in the grocery store when I'm
Okay.
telling you something.
Oh,
Like, I wanted
okay.
you to be ready.
Okay.
No, I didn't physically.
Okay, because that's
Right, I
that's
was-
a lot of pressure to
Yeah,
like
no,
be
no,
in physical. Like
no,
physically.
I
Okay.
wasn't giving all any.
Okay.
I'll give you this. But yeah, so I just did it that way,
Okay.
and it was, and it was a lot, but it was like the more I did it, the more I talked about it, the lighter I felt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Relief.
Like it just was like, okay,
It's not a burden that you're carrying alone.
right.
Yeah.
And so you feel like, I think, you know, not to cut your story, but I think if you're the person in the family that everyone comes to,
Right. And
now
that's-
you have to share this with everyone.
Yes.
And so you feel like, okay, now I'm gonna have to console these people. Then.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
girl, that's
yes.
exactly
They gotta see
it.
all of
Yes.
And I told everyone, I was like, it's not about you. I don't
Right.
care, whatever. It's just not about
Right.
you.
That's what I told my
I don't.
brother.
I
Like,
feel no.
Yeah.
No,
You
no,
don't
no.
get to cry.
Right? No,
Right.
No, you
No.
don't get to do that. No, no, this is my stuff.
It's hard
Yes.
to stay grounded
Yeah.
like that because
Oh, yeah, it's a
you
lot of
are the one that consoles everyone.
Yes.
And so, like you say, which I love that you say, there's no shame with it.
Yeah.
There's no trying to figure out where it came from, right? A lot of
We're
people don't
here,
like
right,
seeing
exactly,
everyone
yeah.
get sick because now people think, well, what was she doing?
Mhm.
Why is she sick?
Right.
Did she not do what she was supposed to do? And so there's this
And
level
it's
of
not even
shame
about
that can
that.
come with that
Yeah.
because you don't have any control over that.
Exactly.
And
Right,
so,
exactly.
you know.
And I've had some people say like, "Well, this works
Yeah,
for cancer."
yeah.
And
We always
I'm
have
always
those
like,
well-intentioned
until
friends.
right, no, exactly. And I no disrespect, but I'm like, until you are in my shoes,
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
don't. I can't.
Yes.
No disrespect.
Yes.
I know you mean well.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like, I'm an educated, smart woman
Yeah.
that's doing the
Yeah.
things. And until I ask you for advice
Yeah,
or
that
some
part.
kind of whatever, like
I'm
I
good.
don't need unsolicited
Yeah.
advice.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
again, you are not walking in
Yes.
my shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
And that goes with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes with
Yeah.
anything.
It does.
And it is, and so that's why I'm like, I had to, even with work and like my bosses, I was like, I have to like just say it, and I have
Yeah.
to, and that's why like when I saw you and you were like, oh, the shirt, and I was like, I could have just been like, oh yeah. You
And
know
I
what I
said,
mean? And not said
yes,
anything, but I
yes.
was like, okay, well, if this woman has brought, you know what I mean? She's wearing this shirt.
Right.
Like, I just experienced this.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer, like, we don't know until we tell our story, right?
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
and people will have all kinds of assumptions of all kinds of things that are
You have
supposed to
no
be said.
idea
You
what
have
people
no
are
idea.
dealing
Exactly.
with.
You just have
And
no
I
idea.
posted because me and a friend of mine, we had some stuff. And sorry to interrupt, but
No.
because you brought this up. And I have been in this headspace because it was a lot that year because I bought this house and I got this diagnosis and then I had this parotid tumor. So it was
Oh,
a
the
lot
lot,
that
yeah.
happened within this short window of time. And once I finally got on the other side of the tumor, I posted this long ass post on Facebook. And I put the dates, like, in April I was shitted on and I found out we had a month to decide if we want to buy this house. And I started from April and I went all the way to when I had that parotid tumor surgery. So it was a list of shit that happened and people were like, oh my God, I had no idea. Yeah. So you don't know what people are going through. And even now, even more so now, because shit
Yeah.
is way more bananas than it was back then. And so it's like, you don't know what people are going through. And if somebody is different, give them grace.
Yeah.
Because they could just be being an asshole, or they could be going through something. You know what I mean? And those kinds of things are huge. They are so, even just going through the little piece that I went through. I don't have the diagnosis. You know what I mean? I have no idea what that
and
means.
all those,
but those little steps and those tests, and that's a lot of shit. You know what I mean? And so it's like, and just think of all these people that are going. And I even posted, like, I would love to meet. I was hoping it was kind of last minute thinking, but I would love to meet a man that was diagnosed with breast cancer and have a conversation with him and just his journey, his story, whatever it was. Because guess what? He doesn't have breasts to chop off. So then what happens to the man?
right, which is also another interesting thing with all of us, you know, well endowed, right? Like, we know growing up what that brings, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're diagnosed with breast cancer,
First thought.
right? Well, not just that, but like other people with what, how should I say it?
It's like
The
you're
right way.
concerned
Just
with
say
your outward appearance to other people and what you think they think of you because that thing's not there anymore.
Well, that, but not really that. More in the sense of like being well endowed and people just seeing you. Like when you walk down the street, they're like, oh, they just, right? And then you're like, oh, breast cancer. Then they're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And so part of me talking about it and saying it, because I am a well endowed woman, that like that stigma of like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to keep talking about it even to a male, or maybe it's a male that I'm not really familiar. You know, I mean, I'm not going running down the street.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to, not trying to remove, I would like to remove the stigma in with conversations and people that I'm around. Right. So like,
it spreads.
Right. No, exactly. So I'm just like, well, you know, like there's a lot to breasts than just you looking at them.
Right. And playing with them.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
All the things.
All the things. And so,
yeah.
So Irvin Swift said,
that's my
hey,
cousin.
Everyone.
Hey, cousin.
Also said about feeling your pain. That's right. Nobody feel your pain but you.
Yeah. And I have Diane Williams on
that's my friend.
YouTube that just says blessings.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and those, we take all the blessings.
The good blessings.
All the good
So
ones.
if you are, is there anything else?
Yeah,
you want
no,
to say?
unless you have a
Because
question or something.
I would love for you to tell a little bit, because I feel like she tapped a
There's
little bit
some things.
into
Yes.
yeah.
And you know, my breast cancer journey did not start with me. It started with my mother in 2008. She was diagnosed with, I don't even remember the kind. She got cancer. She had a mastectomy, went through the chemo, and it metastasized and came back within 7 months of her diagnosis. And she passed away and went to her liver. And this was
that's why I'm saying the mother of a lot.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
This was in 2009. Right. So that was my first introduction to cancer. My grandfather had prostate cancer, but we didn't have cancer in our family. We didn't talk about cancer in our family.
And we have it.
But my mother had her mammogram every year. I remember she was a person that was very involved in her community. She had retired as a police officer, moved to Tennessee, and now she has breast cancer in a place where she's not familiar, but she had started to build a friendship network, and so she was in like this little small hospital. But so she passed away. One thing that she asked me to promise to do was get genetic counseling, because she wanted me to make sure I was prepared for whatever was going to happen from a futuristic standpoint. So I went to the counseling. There was no breast cancer in our family.
Wow.
And so the geneticists were like, you don't really have a whole lot to worry about.
Wow.
Your mother had cancer, but it wasn't the hereditary kind.
Right.
So we hear BRCA gene. We had the BRCA gene mutation. I did back then, it was $5,000 to get it done. I didn't have that money to get it done. But as time went along, the hospital started doing genetic testing. Hey, we can gear your, if something comes up, we can gear your healthcare to you. Yeah. I did the testing. Did not have the mutation for BRCA.
Wow.
Right? But what I did not know is that most African American women do not.
Right.
Oh.
It is prevalent
I
in
just-
Northern European
Wow.
descent.
I just learned that
Women.
as well. Mhm.
And I'll tell you why I learned that part. So, nope, I don't have the BRCA gene, so I'm like, I'm cool.
Right. Right.
Don't have to worry about breast cancer. 2013, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. You know, doctor found it, had the surgery, no big deal. It was the easiest cancer to have because it's easily curable. So I went through that. Had my mammograms, started having my mammograms at 40, right? Because my mother had breast cancer.
History.
And I was 40. I was almost 40 when my mother passed away. So it was just, you know, so had my mammograms every year like clockwork. In 2020, February, before the pandemic, I had a mammogram. They found something on the right side. Hey, Janine, we need you to come in for a biopsy. Still, if you guys know me, you know, I'm even killed. I don't panic.
Yes.
I just go one step at a time.
Yeah.
So we go, Larry takes me, I get the biopsy, talk to the nurse navigator. They get the results, no cancer. And now here I'm crazy. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I don't have cancer. I don't have cancer.
Yeah.
So I had my mammogram in 2021. Hey, you have dense breasts. We need you to come in.
That's
Make
always
sure
the thing.
you get an ultrasound. Which
Always.
and black women
Most
have
women
it.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I get the
Another note.
ultrasound, which was not fun.
Yeah.
Like I had gotten used to
Yes.
mammograms.
No.
Now, you know, transparency. I was a triple D. I had big breasts,
Yeah.
and so you know they clamp it down on it. So we have I get the ultrasounds and all of that, and everything is good in 2021. 2022 comes, have my routine. They say, "Oh, we need you to come back and have another mammogram."
Always have to come back.
I'm thinking, okay, that's everything. Funny thing is, during that mammogram, I was pissed because, and you know, I don't get upset, but the
Technician.
technician
Girl.
was so rough,
Yeah.
and she
Yes.
was pulling, and I
Yes.
got cut, and
Yeah.
yes, the cut in the machine, I had a cut, and I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on?
Yeah.
If she had not pulled and prodded on me the way that she did,
They wouldn't.
they wouldn't have seen it because I had DCIS, right? And look it up because everybody knows Google. So I Googled DCIS. What is DC? So before that, though, I remember going to Jana's birthday party. I hadn't seen Jana in a couple years. Went to her birthday party, and I knew the next day that I was going back for a second mammogram.
Was that at the hotel?
No, it was at Bar Louie.
Okay.
So went back again. I'm thinking, oh, they just need to see it again. Not thinking cancer because I don't have the BRCA gene.
Right.
So I go back, and then the radiologist comes in. He's like, yeah, you know, we just need to do it. 99% of the time, these are
I
nothing.
hate when they say
I'm
that.
still thinking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always
that there's
1%.
no
right. You know,
issue.
right.
I'm still
Yeah.
thinking there's no issue,
Yeah.
right? And because in 2020, I had the biopsy. too.
Right.
No issue. So I was like, oh, it's
Right.
just like the other side,
Yeah.
right? So on the right
Yeah.
was 2020. 2021 was on the 2022. I'm sorry, it was on the left in March. So I get the call back and it's like, okay, we need to make an appointment for a biopsy. I am still not concerned.
Wow.
I'm still moving in the space of it's just like last time.
See, Leos are not like that. I
And
was stressed from
and
the
and,
beginning.
and it, maybe it's because I don't know. A lot of people think like, you know, Janine, you never get upset, you never get worked up
Yeah.
about anything. And it was just me
We're the
of the one of just saying, okay, because my brain, I'm analytical and logical. And so
Yes,
I'm
me.
thinking through this logically, step by step.
And see,
So-
I'm thinking through it like, yep, it's me. I'm guys like, you know, I'm straight to the end.
Right.
You know,
It's like,
I
mind you-
don't. There's nothing in the middle. I'm right to the end.
Right.
with
And it had been
everything.
13 years since my mom had passed away. 13. So it
So,
wasn't
yeah, you really
you know,
thinking
listen,
I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah.
way out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, my mother was 58 when she got breast cancer. Didn't live to see her 60th birthday. But so I go to have the biopsy, going to work, doing what I'm because I had already walked this
Yeah.
Right,
one
right.
time.
Yeah.
The nurse navigator is
Yeah.
going to call you. They're going to give you the results.
Yeah, the
Right.
nurse navigator, your friend,
But-
right?
Yeah, right.
Here's the deal. Post pandemic, people were pissed because they were not getting their test results.
Right.
So now you were getting your test results before your doctor.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do that now.
Yes.
They still do that.
They do that now.
So you
That's the
can
new
opt it,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
So you can opt. So
Yes.
guess what, Janine?
You got
I got my test results
Before
before the nurse navigator could call me.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So I look at and I go in and it says DCIS, and I was like, "What is that?"
What is that?
Oh,
So
God.
Google
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah.
WebMD, which
Yeah.
tells you have cancer
Right.
all
Yes.
the time. And I go, DCIS. And you know, when you see the word carcinoma, you know it's cancer.
Yes.
So ductal carcinoma in situ or in situ or however they say.
Right.
And I was
Basic
like,
both
okay,
ways.
because me, I'm a researcher. Well, it's the easiest kind. It's the slowest moving. But my tumor was almost 10 millimeters long.
Visual.
Yes.
What is that? Like
So,
because
come on,
that's
you
not
That's funny
centimeters.
because I looked it up.
I ain't want
It's not centimeters,
Millimeters
so
are
so
tiny.
it's so it's
No, I know.
not,
I was
it's not
gonna.
very big.
Right? Yeah. No, mine
Oh,
was.
It's not
okay.
very big.
Okay.
It was only a little bit. So 10
Oh,
millimeters
okay.
is 1
Mine
centimeter,
Oh,
mine,
okay.
Mine was
Okay.
mine was
Little.
a centimeter over.
right?
Yours
Okay.
is
So
mine
all
was
set.
big. Yeah.
Same
okay,
thing was
okay.
with my thyroid. I only had a 1 centimeter, but I had stage 3 thyroid cancer. It already spread into the lymph nodes.
Wow.
Had gotten those lymph nodes all taken out. So even after I got now I'm on the phone.
yeah,
call. Now I'm calling the nurse navigator.
I'll give you some healing energy.
So now I'm calling nurse navigator because I'm like, okay, so I got the results, and this is what I said on my message. I do not want to jump to conclusions, so I need someone to call me back.
Yeah.
So the nurse navigator finally called me back. Yes, you have cancer. It's stage 1. In the meantime, Larry knew, Parker knew. So Parker's my daughter. She's at college, and Parker texts me, "Hey, Mom, did you get your results?" And I'm like, and I
What
had
do you
just
say?
gotten them.
What do you say?
And I go, "Do I say yes or no?"
Yeah.
And I say yes, because I don't want to. In the end, like you said, you don't want to hold all of this. And what you have to, and I've always been transparent with my daughter. She was in school for healthcare related
Okay.
major, right? And so I said yes. She goes, "Do you have cancer?" And here I am. I text back, "Yes, I do."
Oh wow.
And because now I don't want her, because she's the freak out kind.
Yeah.
Okay.
My husband's the freak out kind. So I said, "Yes, I do. I will call you in a few minutes." So I called her.
Oh my God.
And I said, it's, I told her it's stage 1. It is, and here's me researching. DCIS is slow moving cancer. You can have it for 10 years. Blah, blah, blah. Right?
Spitting all the Wikipedia stuff.
So I
right?
said, okay. So now I go home. I tell my husband. Now, mind you, I have given cancer news to my family before.
Right.
Right? So I always say thyroid cancer prepared me for this time
Yeah.
because it was different. It wasn't me going, "I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry." Because I hadn't even cried yet. I haven't
Right.
freaked out yet. I
Because
still haven't
breast
freaked out.
cancer is different. Because it's so many things.
Yes. And my mama
So
died.
And your
many
mom
things.
from
Yes.
right. No,
Yes.
that alone.
Yeah.
Like,
now
yeah.
I'm like,
many
okay.
things.
Even if you had the thyroid and
Yes.
your mom had breast
Right.
and it was still cancer,
Right.
but like it's just something that
Yeah.
You think of, and so then now I'm going through, right? And I'm just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And the first thing I did was like, call him back. And the one thing I will say about the nurse navigators is they help you. They make your appointments for you. They
the best
walk you
thing
through it.
ever.
Yes.
I swear to God,
You-
we
I
all need
wasn't
nurse
having to be
navigators
on the phone.
through all things.
Making all these phone calls. I didn't
okay.
have to call a breast surgeon.
No,
I didn't have
yeah.
to call here. I didn't have to call here.
And they move quick.
Yes. And
Okay.
so to have this kind of,
Is that Endeavor?
yes,
Okay.
at the time it was North Shore, right?
Okay, well,
and there's
that's-
the
yeah,
Kellogg,
same.
the
North-
Kellogg
okay, I'm not gonna
Cancer
say it.
Center,
Okay,
right?
I'll
The
just-
Kellogg
I'll
Cancer
just-
Center.
I'll just-
And
okay.
so again, I walked. So I knew. I don't know if I was in 2020 was my preparation, because the Lord knew I was going to go through in 2022. That I stayed calm because I needed to be calm,
Yes,
because I needed
for
to
you.
take all the information. but also I needed to be able, because my family is always inquisitive. I needed to be able to call my brother.
That's it right there. Yeah, you got to be ready because they're gonna come at you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're coming at you.
Yes.
And our experience was, we had our mother for 7 months after cancer. So that was our experience.
Right.
So that's
even
where the
more
mind
so.
is
Yes.
going.
And so now I'm like, how do I tell these people
Yeah.
that we got another fight on our hands?
Yeah.
But in the middle of all this, before I even got the biopsy, I got COVID.
Yeah,
Wow.
life
God.
be life.
Right?
Listen.
So I got COVID. So I had to wait 2 weeks to go for, because then I had the biopsy. Yes, it came back cancer. And the doctor said, we need to go to an MRI. Well, we got to go. You have to have an MRI.
Oh yeah, that MRI thing. I forgot
prepare
about that part too. Yeah, that's not
surgery.
fun.
Yeah.
So I go to MRI. Anybody ever have a breast MRI?
Oh
before?
yes. It's good times. Good
You're
times.
like this.
Like this. But they call it
Face down.
Superman.
Yeah.
Oh
My
God,
radiation
that's
treatment was like that too.
That's
So
terrible.
Radiation
If you
treatment
hate
is like this.
Terrible.
If you hate MRIs, try doing it face down with your hands on.
Exactly.
Big
I
girl like
can't.
me can't go. So I'm in
Did
the
you
machine.
get sedated?
No.
No.
Did you get sedated?
I took CBD.
No. I didn't. wait.
I'ma
It
need
wasn't
to be
legal. It
sedated.
wasn't legal.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to be sedated behind
but
shit
I
like
guess
that.
for me, I was like, I'm just gotta stay even killed through this because I'll just let everybody
God
else
bless
around
your
me
ministry.
pay. So I had it. Guess what happened?
Oh God.
You have cancer in your lymph nodes under your arm. We see cancer
With the MRI. Yeah. So you
So
got to
I
do
did
all
not
these
have
things.
DCIS only. It already has started to
Wow.
metastasize.
Right,
Wow.
And it was in the lymph nodes. So now we have a surgery. Now it's serious because if it's in your
Yes,
lymph nodes, now
yes.
it can be taken to the rest
Right,
of
yeah.
Yes.
So what you said, it can't, when you get a cancer diagnosis, everything moves very quickly. Everybody's like, oh, get a second opinion.
No,
I got breast cancer.
Yeah.
deal with this.
Yeah.
And so,
Let me
and
get
I'm
rid
like,
of that.
do I get a second opinion or not?
Second
I know I have, but I knew what my plan was going to be
Yeah.
because I knew it. So I'm like, okay. So I talked to my husband. Very,
And so wait,
very.
when people are suggesting second opinions, is it because they don't trust their
No,
doctors?
I think it's about
Is
their
it-
care.
Yes.
About do you do a mastectomy? Do you do a lumpectomy?
Because there's so many
Yes.
options and choices.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I'm
things.
like,
do
I
you
was-
want
I'm telling you, I was
reconstructive
like, take
surgery?
a
Do you
ride.
just want half
Yes.
lumpectomy?
Right.
Do you
Even
want-
even after I wasn't diagnosed, I was like, take them.
Right.
Because I watch Botched,
But you
and I know
say
what
that.
can be done. I know they got they give you stand up ones. You don't need
Oh.
a bra. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, take them
And I think
because I can get some better
Yes.
ones. You know what I mean?
I think
So
in the end too.
I'm serious. That's
It's
what I was.
easy.
That's
I think
where my mind
sometimes
was.
your mind goes there. That's where my mind went. But it's funny is that during the pandemic, I started buying pretty bras. I was lifting my boobs up.
No, it is. It
and
is
I
a
had
thing,
all
right?
these
Yeah.
gorgeous bras, and because I'm a triple D, right? And I'm like, they were starting to hang.
Yes.
I was 53.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look at all these beautiful bras and everything looked great. And I'm like, well, do I? And I decided, and I talked to you talk to the breast surgeon because the breast surgeon is only concerned with your cancer.
Yes.
All are only concerned
Yes.
about your
Yes.
cancer.
And
You
then-
could be like, can I have? She's like, nope.
Yep.
We're not talking about that.
And then
We're
I
talking
go
about
to
this.
Yeah.
then I go, oh, then you have to see, because you didn't know. I didn't know. Then you
You're
see a
right.
plastic surgeon.
Yes.
And so I go see the plastic surgeon. And God bless Dr. Cisco. I took my husband with me. He sat with us for 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
He answered every question I had. He
Wow.
answered every question my husband had. He showed me what an implant looks like, what types of implants. He went through the whole thing with me.
Nice.
Yeah. No,
And
that's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is my surgeon. And in the end, I opted for a bilateral mastectomy.
Okay,
I have
yeah.
both of my
Like,
breasts
right, yeah.
removed. One, because of family history.
Mhm.
2, because I already had the biopsy on the
Right,
right
and you're like,
side.
Shh.
Right.
So I need to deal with this now.
Yeah.
And so I had the bilateral in May of 2022. And I was going to get full reconstructive surgery. They put in expanders.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah,
at this
that's
moment,
a whole process.
I'm
Like,
still-
that whole thing is-
I'm still thinking I'm just doing surgery and then I'm getting new breasts.
Yeah.
Well, because I had DCIS, chemotherapy is not. I don't even think about chemo. After that, they send your tumor to this tumor board. Everybody looks at it.
Right, yeah.
Again, I'm thinking
You have to do the
no
pathology,
problem.
right?
I'm
Like
not
you do the
gonna-
surgery,
right.
then they take it out
Right.
again, and then they test it again.
But because I had lymph node involvement,
Yeah, that's a big one.
had to go see the oncologist. They do a test. They come back and they say, based on this, here's your likelihood of getting cancer or recurrence. And they said, we think you should do chemotherapy. I could have decided not to do the chemo. And that's when my daughter was like, why do you have to do chemo? And because now I'm on the same path my mother went on, right? She did only one breast. My mother had little breasts. My mother found her cancer on a self-exam.
Wow.
7 months after her mammogram that did not show a ping pong ball sized tumor.
Wow.
My mother was an A cup.
Yes,
Wow. Wow.
So
That's how important
yes.
those self-exams are.
Early detection is key. I remember we were planning our 35th high school reunion. I was part of the committee, and I sent a message to the girls and said, you know what? I have some health issues. One of them called me, and I told her what was wrong. And we were all 53, and she was like, Janine, I've never had a mammogram. I said this.
We're all like, whoa.
I said to her,
Wow.
I said, this is what I need you to do for me.
Please make an
Okay.
appointment
I
right
need
now.
you to make an appointment
Yeah.
to go get a mammogram.
Yeah.
Today.
I go,
Yeah.
and some people
Yeah.
don't want to know they're sick.
Yes.
But, and
No,
the
I
one,
mean, no.
nobody wants to know they're sick.
Right.
But the one thing I held on to was that it was 13 years between my mother's cancer and mine. And science changes things.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And
Yes.
so-
Yes. Yeah.
Every cancer diagnosis is different.
Yes.
Mine is not hers and hers is not mine.
Exactly.
And so that's the space
Even
I
if it
hold on.
was the same, it's still different
It's
because it's
still
13
different,
years
right?
later,
Yeah,
and,
correct.
and medicine
So much
changes.
has
So in the
Yeah.
end, I had
Yeah.
Since we
ER,
started this podcast.
PR
Oh,
positive, HER2 negative. So my cancer was hormone receptive.
Mine too.
What does that mean?
That means that. So when you start
And
to
that's
go
the thing
through
is all these names
Yes.
and numbers
Yes.
and
So I have a
letters and
question
stuff.
for you,
estrogen,
though, too.
progesterone, and then HER2 is a protein. But when you start to go through menopause,
Well, that was my question. Were you pre or post?
I had a hysterectomy when I was 48.
Okay, so yeah.
My mother had a hysterectomy when there was 48. So it sounds like the same story, right? So everybody's freaking out because it's the exact
Yes.
same story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
I'm freaking out now. Like what?
When
Yeah.
you start to go through menopause, estrogen
Listen.
turns to fat.
Yes.
You start
Yeah.
to lose your estrogen, and it turns to fat.
Shut up.
And they say,
Anything at the damn
All
time.
right.
and so
I got some
fat.
facts for you.
So
It ain't estrogen related.
Okay. So being overweight is a factor. Of and everybody says, where'd the cancer come from? I don't really care.
Who does?
I don't
Who
care.
cares? It's not
And who
your,
really
it's not, none of your
knows
business.
for real, right?
My mother worked out every day. She did 25 push-ups
Right,
a
yeah.
day.
No,
She was the healthiest person I knew. And so she got cancer. Right? She did everything
That's
right.
what I mean,
and she got
exactly.
cancer. I did everything wrong and I got cancer. Right?
Yeah.
I quit smoking, all of those things. And so yes, there are factors and there are things, but after that, right, I had the surgery, I had chemotherapy, I had 4 rounds of chemotherapy over 12 weeks.
Okay.
And then I had issues with the implants, not my implants, but the expanders,
expanders.
are temporary implants they put in
Yeah.
so that they can
Stretch your
stretch your tissue so that you can take new implants, regular ones. And so I started having leakage and infections.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot
I
that
say
goes
this
to that.
right, and
Yes.
so after that, I had the chemo, and it's funny because I remember telling Janet and Kelda that I had cancer,
Yeah. I remember
and
that like it was yesterday.
we went out to dinner.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Janet told me. She's like, our friend took us to dinner.
We went out
And
to
did.
dinner,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I shared it with them. And then at the time, my life was like this on a trajectory. I got 2 promotions at work. And everything was going right, and then cancer. And then I said,
Yeah.
you know what? This is not going to define the
That's it
rest
right
of
there.
my life.
That's it right there.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it right there.
Yeah.
The
So-
first words out of my mouth,
Yes.
dude. This we gotta keep it moving, but it doesn't define you.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I remember telling now I have people that are reporting to me, and I'm gonna have to go out on medical leave.
Right.
And I called them. We were remote. So I did
Right,
a Zoom
right.
call in our one-on-ones. At the end of one-on-ones, I told them my diagnosis. I'm going out. No problem. Everybody, I will say this. Everybody at work kind of rallied around me.
Okay.
They really were there for me, for my family. They made sure, that they sent things. They made sure like we could eat
Mhm.
and all of those things. And
I
so
remember that.
I didn't have to worry about all of those.
Yeah.
And to say that is that when people when your people around you are diagnosed with things and you say, let me know if you need something, do not put the burden on that person
No.
who called
Right.
you, because they're not going to.
Right.
Yeah.
So your friend, your family member, your coworker, anybody is going to need something from you.
Food for sure.
Even if it's you come in my house and we sit and watch
No,
TV.
food
all
is
night.
the,
Yes.
food is my
huge,
love
right?
language.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Anytime I find out, okay, I'm gonna cook a
Right.
meal.
Correct.
Because I can do
And
that.
so-
I can make a
and
big
that
meal.
came in handy
Yeah.
because then Larry didn't have to do anything.
Yes.
I didn't have to do anything.
Yep.
Parker was like, Mom, come home. I said, okay. So she was able to be home for my surgery, but she also had things going on at school. I said, go back to
Right.
school.
Mhm.
We are not pausing anything.
Right,
for
we're
that.
trying normalcy,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
doing whatever. Like
Yeah.
we're paying
Surprise.
attention to what's happening, and we're caring,
Correct.
and we're being intentional.
Right.
But that's still like moving. We're not going to stop our
Right.
goals or
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah,
that
because
we're
we
doing.
Yeah.
needed, because life still had to life.
No,
Because
exactly.
like, and again, at the beginning of everything, I got COVID, my husband got COVID, and his COVID was bad.
Is that your foot?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
His
Because
I
she-
apologize to me.
Oh,
and Kevin.
I'm sorry. That's you too. I'm
I'm
sorry.
honored to be connected to you in this moment.
His COVID was bad, and I remember like he was just like, I can't take it. I finally said to him, you have to fight through this because we have a bigger fight on our hands. Because by then I knew I had it, but I still hadn't had the second biopsy.
Mhm.
So, had all the surgeries. Surgery went fine. Like, I always say sometimes I made it look too easy.
Thank you for saying
Yeah.
that, Janine. Thank you for saying that, because I feel too sometimes I like in this place of like yeah, okay, I look fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am fine,
yeah,
and I'm moving,
yeah,
and I'm working, and
yeah.
doing
Right,
the things or
right.
whatever. But then again, I'm like, right, like it's too like I don't want it to be too normal, but
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be a martyr.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
like so that's why like talking about it
Yes.
or telling the story or
Yeah.
saying like whatever, like I'm just real. It's a matter of fact.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, oh, you better not, oh yeah, no, my boob hurts right
Yeah.
now because I just
Yeah.
had breast cancer.
Yeah.
Like, and then just keep it moving.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
questions, you ask me questions. But other than that, like
Yeah.
that
You
whole
don't.
like
I think it really is. I have had coworkers that have had cancer. I have a very good friend that has cancer now, and she's really struggling. And what I say to people, because through this all journey, right, I had chemo, lost my hair, still went to my Zoom calls with no hair.
mhm.
Came to the ladies thing
Yes,
with no hair.
yeah, and in the end, it was just
I have pictures.
this is my fight. This is my
Right.
right. And so one, I learned that I don't have to make you comfortable for what I'm going through.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
That's
the
it
biggest
right
thing,
there.
yeah.
That is
And,
right.
But if
Biggest
you
thing.
ask me what I'm struggling, and I remember meeting Barb and seeing Kamiko, and I remember going to meet, and we went to our friend's house for the picnic to friend's house.
Friend's
It
house.
was before
Okay.
her
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah.
And I had a port because I had chemo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I had just started chemo. I had my first round. And I decided, I remember one day on a conference call just pulling my hair out. Right?
Mm.
Not because of anything, just wanted to see what's going to come out.
Yeah.
And Parker was there. And she was like, Mom, would you stop? And I thought, oh, this is really affecting her.
Yes.
Because now
Yes.
it's
yeah,
visual.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's
Yeah.
visual.
Yes.
And I decided, okay. And so I said to Parker, go upstairs, get daddy's clippers.
Mhm.
I cut my hair that day.
Yeah.
I asked my husband to help me. So we were all a part of
Yeah.
it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I went through chemo, but Barb and Kimiko were like, when did you get your port? Right? So I always say,
Oh, yeah.
this is, things about people based on their appearance because
Yeah.
of what things are going through.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, mine is new.
Yeah.
Right? And I saw Barb's scar. And I remember being on Facebook, being on TikTok, seeing videos, and I started following this lady, and I was like, that's a scar.
Right. Yeah.
And that scar means that she had cancer.
Uh-huh.
And she told her cancer journey. And so it sometimes is an opportunity to start a conversation.
Yeah.
To offer support.
Yeah.
And so, I ultimately opted not to have implants because I had so many issues with just the expander.
Right.
And I, because even my doctor was like, because the plastic surgeon was like, yeah, we can put you in the new ones and blah, blah.
Yeah, no, everything's fancy.
Right,
and
it's
new
fabulous. Yeah.
So I had an
They're
emergency.
doing it, Tim.
I had an emergency surgery to have one removed that had the infection. So it's 2 weeks before my surgery to get the
Right.
new ones. And then I had to wait 2 weeks to get the other one taken out. So in the middle of all of this, they say to me, you have to have radiation. I was like, what the hell you mean? Now I thought the chemo and all that. No, based on your tumor, I wasn't listening. That's why you
That's what
always
I'm
bring somebody with you to your
Right.
appointment.
Yes.
Yeah, and that little notebook.
Yes, based on your
I'm like, I'd be writing everything
tumor,
down.
Yeah.
you have to have radiation. You have to have 28 rounds
Oh,
of radiation. And I was like, 28. So again, I need to know just for myself because I'm one that likes to be knowledgeable of things.
No, same.
When on the internet,
Yeah.
just look it up. What it is. The one thing that I will say is that the disparity in finding out things about people of color and women of color and what these things are going to do to your body and what your body is going to look like. There was nothing there. I'm like, okay, because I hear everybody talk about radiation scars. So what is my skin going to look like? Found no pictures.
Nope.
Wow.
And so I was like, then what do I do? So, so when I go to the radiologist, the oncology radiologist, she was the same one that did my thyroid cancer because I had to have radiation for my thyroid, but it was just a pill. So set me up, do my radiation. In the middle of radiation, I got COVID again.
Oh, God.
Girl.
I say
Good Lord.
that my cancer was bookended by COVID,
Okay.
but during all of this, I remembered. Good for you. I've had it
It's terrible.
3 times.
I've
Yes.
had it twice.
I've had it
It's-
3
it's-
times.
It's
Yeah, I've had it
terrible.
twice.
Imagine.
But
It's terrible.
in the middle of all of this, I had
Girl,
a
look, knock on your
Just
head.
go take it like this, girl.
Right? Look, hit Jana in the head.
I be treating you like that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I do.
So I had a coworker that said to me,
Okay, I think so right away.
and she goes, Janine, you should do a blog and just talk about what happened to you and how you came through this and tell your story. And I was like, nobody really wants to hear my story.
Everybody
Oh,
wants to
God.
hear it.
You'd be
And
surprised.
so, you know
And
what
I
I
agree
decided?
until they hear it,
Right.
right? Like no one
Yes.
knows they need to hear something
Yes.
until they hear it.
Yeah.
So
You don't know you needed that until you saw it.
and
Yeah.
sometimes it's cathartic for you to tell your story.
No.
You never know what other people are going through.
Yep.
And so at work, I decided that I belong to an employee resource group, specifically for African Americans. But I went to a couple of my friends that were kind of co-chairs on different things. And I was like, I want to do a panel discussion
Awesome.
about how to come back to work after your
Amazing.
cancer treatment.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
How
amazing.
to return to work.
Yeah.
That's
How does
awesome.
work look, right?
Right.
And it happened to be in October, like the end of September. So we
Okay.
kind of had a breast cancer
Thing.
kind of theme to it.
Okay.
But then I reached out and what for me was, yes, I know what it went through. I went through as the person. And this is what I will say too. The minute they took that cancer out of your body, you became a survivor.
Oh, for sure.
And
Because that's so powerful.
Yes.
That's so
Yes.
powerful. Yeah.
And then I said, okay,
But it is a weird, weird like a limbo spot.
Yes, it is. Because you have survived it. You're
Right.
alive.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
So you're a survivor. And then I said, well, okay, I know how I felt as the person that had cancer. What about the caregiver?
Mm-hmm.
What about the clinician? Because I work for a medical device company that employs clinicians. So we had a panel discussion from a perspective of the whole care.
Right, yeah,
Nice.
that's awesome.
The
Yeah,
person that
that's
had
nice.
the cancer, we had clinicians, we have family members,
That's nice.
and we had one discussion just about kind of awareness, how to come back to work, how did you feel, and then we had a second discussion a month later about kind of life after. In the middle of that, I was like, I'm not one to get up and talk in front of people. I know people are like, yeah, Jenny's not very. I'm not. I'm a wallflower. I sit in the corner and I listen to
you're
your
not a
discussions.
Leo.
But I was something kept pushing me and said, Janine, you need to do something. You need to just share.
I was just getting ready to say
so relate
share.
And
to
so-
Janine.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's
And
literally
so
why
I
I'm here.
decided, I was like, okay, so we have this thing at work called, it's like Engage. It's kind of like work Facebook.
Oh.
And I started a channel called Cancer Support Network.
Oh, that's
And basically it is,
was it well received?
yes.
Okay.
Because first I went to the DEI guy. I was like, hey, can we do this? Or,
Okay.
to get permission.
Right.
And he said, it sounds like you need a network. And I said, well, can I start a page? Yes. So I started the page, and not very many people are members.
Okay.
However, what I have said to people is that, and I like the people that are on the panel, I said, will you be available for people if they have a question? If they want to talk,
That's important.
if they
It
want
is.
to get information. So I use the page just every month. I highlight whatever the cancer of the month is, put information there. But now I've had this page, I think, for maybe 2 years.
It's amazing. That's awesome.
I have had people reach out to me personally because I have told people, you can talk to me, you
Yeah.
can message me personally,
Yeah.
and I will be there to help you. And I've had many people reach out to me.
That's dope.
There was-
I love that.
Through your
Job.
job?
Yes,
Well, this is through your job specific.
yes,
Okay.
correct.
I love that.
And so it because
Because that's the one place you're not getting support.
Well,
Real
right,
talk.
or that you realize that it's there.
No,
Because
no,
you have
it
people
is.
you work with
Mhm.
and that are your friends and they love you and they want you to be okay. But one thing I will say is that I did not consider the mental health aspect of being a cancer survivor.
Girl, That's-
That's
for
Yeah,
anything, we are
But
not
it-
tuned into the
No, it
mental
is.
health piece
How about,
of all
right,
this
when,
shit.
When
You
they
know what I
give
mean?
you those papers, when they give at the end of your treatment, and they're like, "Oh, here's your cancer survivorship."
Yes.
I was like, "Cancer survivorship."
Yeah.
I was like,
They're like,
like
yeah.
while I knew,
It's
I
the
didn't
list.
know, right? Yeah. And I was
I
like,
could-
oh, like, and then that's
Yes.
when, like, right away, it's like for the rest,
Rest
of your life,
life.
this is like,
I call it the list of don'ts. Right? Don't drink. Don't smoke. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And it is what I will say to the nurse practitioner is like it's not that you can't drink. It's that things have to be happening in moderation. Because
right.
again, they don't know. They know
They
what
don't,
causes
right,
cancer,
exactly.
but they,
They
don't
don't
know what causes cancer.
No.
And sometimes you
We do and we don't,
It's
but
the
okay.
pharmaceutical.
That's a
companies,
whole
blah, blah,
other
But
conversation.
as long as I'm surviving,
We got a lot of side
know, right?
happening, okay?
right. And so there was one lady that reached out to me and she was like, she was like, I survived cancer. She goes, but I have a coworker who has been out for 6 months and she just doesn't, she's alone. She doesn't know what to do. And she just needs someone to talk to. I said, give her my phone number.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this lady, when she reached out to me, I remember talking to her. The first time I talked to her for 2 hours.
Wow.
She's a stranger. I didn't even know her.
So her cancer was breast cancer?
No.
Oh.
And that's the thing.
It doesn't.
I
wow.
died. That's what the Cancer Support Network that I started. I don't care if you have breast cancer, colon cancer.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the cancer she has. It was really, it was
Wow.
rare, but it was one. I didn't even really hear, but I just remember talking to her on a constant basis.
Mhm.
And she was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to survive. And I said, okay, Lord,
Wow.
I need to help change her mindset.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so important.
Yeah.
My mantra has always been, and I have a really good friend that's going through cancer now, and she's she has her family and whatever, but she just doesn't know. And what I finally said to her was, our bodies are built to want to live. So
Beautifully said.
you have antibodies in your body. Everything in your body is built
I was going to
to
ask you,
get
what do you
better.
mean?
Yeah, no, it's meant to, it
Everybody-
fights it
everybody-
off. Like
yes.
it's meant, you
Everything
know?
in your body, because sometimes the only way you know you have cancer is because your body is making antibodies to fight something
Yeah.
that's not supposed to be
Right,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So your body is already predisposed to survival, not to give up. But your brain and your mind
Girl,
has to align
that brain.
with that. And so with this lady, she's survivor. She was out from work for 6 months, and she was like, I don't know how I'm gonna come back. She was IT person. She was like, I don't even remember how to do work. I said, here's the thing. I go, one, because in the end, all transparency, I almost lost my damn job because I did not know the mental toll that cancer was going to take on me. Right. And I still thought I could face everything and I could fight everything. And my body changed. And I didn't recognize those changes as they were happening. And to say to the people around me, I need help. And that's when I say, sometimes the people are not going to ask you for help. You have to recognize that something is not right.
See the signs.
And so I just remember I talked to her. Some days I didn't even want to pick up her phone call. But I said, she needs to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So in the end of it, she came back to work. She finally came back to work, and I would check on her. How you doing? Blah, blah. And I remember her saying to me, like in the message, she's like, Janine, I don't know what I would do without you.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. She goes, you changed my mind. She goes,
Wow.
I was so negative.
Right.
And I had to get out of that space. She goes, if it had not been for you, I don't know what I said, can I use that? And I put it on the Cancer Support Network. And so it's just those one people. And then people come to me and their family is going through issues. And I try to tell them, here's how you can support your person.
Yeah.
And here, when like if your wife or your husband or whatever is going through chemo, and I tell them, I go, especially because she had breast cancer. One lady had breast cancer. I said, first treatment, this is what's going to happen. And then this is what's going to happen. And I go, when she gets to 3, she's going to want to give up. She's going to be tired. Chemo has now been in her body for 3 months. And you know, I want to do it. I said, help her get through that part of it.
Yeah.
And then you get to the next one. So I think for me, I made cancer look easy. I remember I used to go to my chemo treatments and go, I feel bad. My doctor go, why? Because all these people are just kind of creaking around.
It's funny that you say that.
And they're skinny. And everybody just looks so sick. And here I am. Hey, hook me up, ready to go. And I gained 40 pounds during my treatment. I was pissed. I gained 40 pounds. I said, how I gained 40 pounds? And everybody I know who got cancer got really skinny.
No, I know that you're just kind of like,
Hilarious.
But it is, and I could totally relate with that too. I would go to radiation. I would dress up.
Yeah.
I would be like, I mean, obviously you're doing all these things and you want to be fresh and clean, but but I was just like, I had to like be intentional. And when you say that about like the mental health toll and like you were going, like you describing yourself, like, oh, I'm an even keel person and I'm logical and I do step by steps. I am not an even keel person. I am an emotional person.
Yeah.
Like I am I could bring it together, but I do, I get a little, but so I knew, I'm like, this is going to mess me up if I don't get it together now. Right. Like I know myself and I'm like, I have to, because again, like how you described, like your family and other people and it's about them, but not about them.
Right.
So, and when you were saying, those kind of things that were in the beginning, like were people helping you in food, right away, I was like, okay, this is it. I had to just like again, rip the Band-Aid off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not waiting for anybody to ask me what I want or what I need. Or can I help you?
Yeah.
Okay, boom. I'm having surgery on this day. I got a family of 4. I have this slew of friends. I'm like, we eat tacos from this place. This is the menu. We seriously broke it all down way before surgery.
But you made it so much easier because I know going through
because it's a lot. No, it's a lot to go, and I just didn't want to mess with it while I was going through it. And everybody was like, "What do you need? What do you need?" And I'm like that.
Yeah.
Even without cancer, don't ask me too many questions. Don't whatever. I can't. So I'm like, okay, these are the things. These are choices of different restaurants, different foods that we like. These are our dietary things or whatever. And
it's
so
helpful.
And
you get more support that way because we don't have to think. We can just do. We just do.
Yeah. They literally, and I gave it to. I had 1 or 2 of them be in control of it, and then tell everybody else, and then every day for. Like 2 weeks, I had a meal, and it was not just for me, but for my whole family and dietary needs or whatever. And also, some people would deliver the food themselves. Some people had Grubhub delivered. Somebody else was like, "Here's just a Grubhub gift card. Order what you want when you feel like it." You know what I mean? And those kind of things, and just
I wish I was like that because when I was going through all my stuff, people were like, "What do you need?"
No, and I can't handle that on a good day. On a good day, I can't handle
what I need.
And see, me, I won't tell you I need anything.
No, I won't
of who
tell
I
you.
am.
Right, exactly. Same. I am the same way, and I won't. And I'm usually the one that does or asks other people.
What you think I need?
I just really have to get to this part of.
Let control.
Right. Let the control go because I will control. Yeah. And just to be vulnerable and let it be. And let it lie where it lies. And then it's all gonna fall suit. You know what I mean? Like it just it does.
Yeah.
When I've gotten this far. Is this wood, right?
Because when you
I had to for the one time.
I would say when you let people do things for you, it allows them to be a part of your healing process.
Yes.
Because
and people really want to be a part of that. They really,
one
really
of the
do.
things I had to face because I still think struggle with this is that again, I was a triple G. I am a 6 foot tall woman. Yeah. And so I was proportional.
Okay.
Right? And so now I'm not. And there are days when I'm just like, I have a cardigan now. I used to start at one point I was hiding.
Yes, you were.
Right.
Yes, you were.
And I remember from a posture standpoint.
I said something to you about that too.
I have big boobs, so I used to put my shoulders back.
Yes.
I don't have that no more. Mm-hmm. Right. So I don't have anything. So I had to remind myself, be proud, stand tall.
You are a survivor.
And keep your shoulders back. Yeah. And I think that one of the things that I ask my friends to always advocate for in their healthcare, and this is just a little plug. It's occupational therapist that my daughter is. She's in her doctoral program. But the occupational therapist changed my life because I could not lift my arms. When you're the tallest person in the family and have to reach things on the high shelf, now you can.
Yeah.
Like those little things.
No, it's the little stuff.
So the occupational therapist has changed my range of motion, how I deal with things in my day. I take medicine that my joints ache, that could get my bones away, and all of that. And so I'm not it's so funny because I started exercising before I got cancer. I was in the gym. I just posted a thing. I did 35 miles for breast cancer awareness, and a year later I got cancer. And so, and now I'm finding, now I just have to do it different. Yeah. I went on the breast cancer walk. It was 2.5 miles. It was the hardest thing I have done in a long time, right? Walking is very difficult for me because my knee joints hurt.
That medicine.
And my hips hurt. and all of that. And you're like, do I take this forever? Am I going to take it for 5 years? Am I going to take it 10 years? I'm going to take it as long as it keeps the cancer away.
Well, right. So that's interesting. So that's what I was going to ask you when you were telling your journey and the years and stuff. And that's why I was like, were you post or premenopausal? I was postmenopausal. I had, well, obviously it's been 6 months. So I've been menopausal for the last 2 years. But I started to have all those symptoms outside of breast cancer. So this is another part of this story. So I was having those symptoms, the hot flashes, the joint pain, all the things. And again, like I said, I was dealing with my mom and caretaking with that. So there was a lot of stress and a lot of things that you were just like, okay, I'll get to that later. Right. And so hence she passed, right. May she rest in peace. But then after that, I was like, okay, Jennifer, you got to go you got to do these things.
To take care of you.
Take care of yourself. And so then I started, and then I found, I got the diagnosis and stuff. But prior to my diagnosis, being menopausal, having these symptoms, I went on menopause hormone therapy, right?
Okay.
Because I did the research. Yes. I was digging into it. I was like, okay, I have all these things, all this stuff's going on. I really dived deep into it and went with the decision of like, yes, I'm going to try this out. So I went to do it.
Theory. Yeah.
The minute I put that little patch on, amazing. Yeah. My whole body, like the joints, the pain, all the things. I mean, and then, I was tweaking it and, increasing my dose or whatever. And I literally was just on it almost a year. But I was like tweaking it in that time, and I was doing physical therapy because I had some other issues. Like I was just doing all these things, trying to, get over this menopausal situation. And then I got diagnosed with breast cancer. So I was on hormone therapy. And so there's also this, I guess, stigma, for lack of a better word, about, right?
Yeah.
So,
connected to
right.
Yeah.
Connection,
Yes.
right? So with me, within doing the research, as far as like making the choice to take it,
Right.
I, the studies, that they had 20 years ago that said, oh, well, this causes it. This is what happens.
Right.
And that's why it scared everybody. And that's why everybody, women our age are all like, freaking out or in pain or dealing with all this stuff because no one wants to do that, in the fray. So, now the research is coming back out that was a misinformed, research or whatever. So I was okay with, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I feel good, whatever, even like the breath, whatever. And again, like no one, because that's also too, do you have breast cancer in your family? Breast cancer.
Yeah.
I'm like, no one in my family has ever had breast cancer. I did have an aunt that had pancreatic cancer that she passed away from that several years. I didn't have the BRCA gene. I'm Latina, like same thing. Like, you don't see the people in the pictures. They don't see the people of the thing. And so I was like, okay. And again, I was like, okay, well, the gene, but I still have cancer and it's not in my, in my family either. So then with that, but once I was diagnosed right away, they're like, no more.
You have to stop.
You have to stop, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even, again, that's something that I would have to decide for myself. I mean, like I said, it's only been 6 months in, but the idea of taking it again after breast cancer is also something that they're, researching. I'm not ready to do that or talking about it or whatever. But when I was diagnosed and I went to my surgeon oncologist and all the oncologists, because you got a medical oncologist, you have a radiation oncologist, you got a lot of oncologists. They were like, no, it's coincidence, maybe, but it's not, we're not correlating. Right. We're not correlating. We're not saying that.
So I don't have to suffer no more.
No, here's the thing. Like Jennifer said, 20 years ago.
But I think that's very important too. And I'm glad that we brought it back up and put it back in there because that's a very big issue.
Do your research.
Ask your questions.
Ask questions.
Because I was so excited to take it. I was so happy again. Like I was having symptoms. I was I was going through so many things in my life. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what a game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer on so many levels. And then cancer came.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what? Like
Yeah.
I have to stop now. So then with that being said, like you said, like you have to, you know, like, yeah, you exercise. You just got to find ways to do the things, you know, whatever, collagen, what, you know what I mean? Like all the, whatever works
Whatever
for you.
works.
You know,
Exactly.
and
Whatever
it's like,
works for
it
you.
kind of sounds redundant or maybe like, oh, well, that's not, but it is. That's
It
just
is.
like a part of your life.
Yep.
And I will say, as far as like when you're talking about like occupational therapy and stuff, I'm getting my treatment through Swedish Covenant Hospital. And also Swedish Covenant has a wellness center, a fitness wellness center that, because I'm a cancer patient, they have this cancer program that I am allowed to be part of this this fitness center.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
They provide massages,
Yeah.
acupuncture.
Yeah.
I could use the fitness center. They have a swimming
Good.
pool, like all this stuff.
That's
And
what's
right
up.
away, when I
That
started
is.
radiation, they're like, okay, well, you're a part of the, you know, the fun. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's wonderful.
Take advantage.
right, exactly.
Yes.
I'm like, I love that place, and I used to go
Yeah.
like whenever I
Yeah,
could.
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
I'm like, I could
yeah.
just never
Yes. And now you can.
Yeah.
now I and
Yeah.
you know, and they were like, a lot of people don't utilize.
Yes.
No, they don't. And
And I was like, oh, I'm like all over it.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, I'm going in the swimming
Right.
pool.
Right.
I'm using the
I
sauna. I'm
all
doing
the
the
stuff
weights,
that I
like,
can.
You
Yes,
know, they even
yes.
have virtual like I'm doing
Yeah.
it and
Love that.
utilizing
Me
it
too.
to my
That's
best.
good
And I'm
stuff.
so like, and
They
so
see
I'm
it.
like, if you are gonna go and you want like, I feel like my care there has been amazing.
Oh, that's
And then
good.
with the perks of like this fitness center,
Yeah.
and everyone's just been so
Good.
very,
See the
Yeah.
need. And that's
That's
yeah,
good.
no, it's been
That's
amazing.
And
It's
so
been
I
amazing.
read
So-
Swift says, I hate
Oh.
cancer. Took my first husband in
Yeah.
less than a year. And
That's my
glad you
cousin.
ladies are doing well and in remission.
That's good stuff.
So
So I wanted to ask you and Lisa. So you all have told your story, and I know we've talked a long time, and it's
it's
weird.
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
But what is there something you all want to say? Because I feel like it potentially is.
No, I mean,
No,
I
and
didn't
you don't
have,
have to. I
No,
just,
no.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't have breast cancer, but I had ovarian and cervical 3 times in
Okay.
5 years.
Wow.
So I had my hysterectomy at
Oh,
33, which
yeah.
was many moons ago.
Yeah.
This is fine.
It kept me from doing. So I never really felt any menopause symptoms.
Uh-huh.
But that's part of, but that's like you get
I
your,
was
you get
forced into
right,
it
exactly.
at
It's like
33.
surgical.
Yeah.
But like you all, you were saying something about telling people,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
and I honestly, when it's put on my heart to share my story, I share it. But I could meet people and not share,
Right.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
with no problem. The other. The stuff with Michael, with I'm not responsible for making you feel
Right,
comfortable.
exactly.
And I'm like, let me do what I do.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
I'm going to talk about my baby. I'm going
Yes,
all of this.
Exactly.
And if it makes me cry, it makes me cry.
Right.
If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
If it makes you uncomfortable, get over it.
that part, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
like
A lot of when I did go back to work, people were standoffish
Yeah.
and avoiding me, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I sent out an email to the whole company.
Yep.
This is what's going on. Y'all all know that's why you avoiding me.
yeah.
Don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I was Miss Hospitality at my
Right,
job.
right.
So now you're avoiding me. I feel
Yeah.
like a leper.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Bring your ass over to my desk.
Right.
Have our conversations.
Right.
we
Right, like
always
this
Yeah.
had.
isn't contagious,
It's
right?
not.
Like this is
It's
not the
not.
plague here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you are uncomfortable talking to me,
Yeah.
that says a lot about you.
Yes,
It
I agree.
does.
agree.
It does.
And also the other part I was talking about with the negativity and how your mind has to be
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
I am also positive poly at jobs because I don't embrace negativity.
Right.
Everything, in my opinion, everything that happens for a reason. And if the same thing continuously happens to you and you consider it bad, that's because you haven't learned the lesson.
Yeah.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
to look through the negative to that silver
Yeah.
lining, because
Everything.
everything
yeah.
has a silver
Yeah.
lining. There's a lesson in everything
Yeah.
that
Right.
happens in our
Yeah.
life. And until you learn that lesson, you're going to keep being
Yeah.
taught the
Yeah.
same
Yeah,
lesson.
yeah.
So all of that just
Everybody says
resonated
always
with me.
like, you know, I have rosy kind of colored glasses.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
I mean,
and
too.
it's a space
Yeah.
I live in. And
Yeah.
sometimes people think that I'm not being realistic, but I know what I believe
Mhm.
and how I want to move in the space. Even
Right,
in the
that's it.
negative space, I know how I want to move it. Even when I'm having difficulty, I still am
That.
like, some days I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I can feel like, you know, yeah, my bones ache, Thank you. Because my bones ache and I can feel that my bones ache.
Yeah.
Right. And
So
so
you're not bedridden.
right,
Right.
correct. And there's always something that you can share with someone about the experience that you're going
Yeah.
through. And the one thing I say, you can't treat people differently. And yes, I am different.
Mhm.
And there was a part of me I had to grieve away. I had to say, I'm not Janine. I'm pre-cancer Janine is not
Post-cancer.
here anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Some
right.
parts of her are here.
Yeah.
But I have to move in the world differently now.
Yes.
And now I have a different view of the
Yes.
world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the lady I was helping, I said, it's okay for you to grieve that person.
Yeah.
And it's okay for you to not feel like that person
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
And you just have to be comfortable with that. And I think that's what helped her. And in the end, she was worried about if she was going to come back to work and all of that stuff. And I was like,
Oh,
you just come back to work. You be honest with people. And then she had worked for the company for a lot of years, and her position was impacted because she needed to make the decision, and she couldn't. And I go, well, you're at retirement age. She goes, I'm kinda, or whatever. And I said, well, it sounds like you're struggling with making the decision whether or
Yeah.
not you want to work. So for her, she was like, the company made the decision for me, and she was still a contractor. But I talked to her, and I was like, well, how do you feel about that? She goes, I'm fine. She goes, I'm not upset, because she was worried about aftercare. What happens if I get cancer and I don't have a job?
Yeah, that's
Right?
real.
Because she wasn't at a Medicaid age where she could have, like, so how am I going to have
Okay.
care? And I think we always think about our health
Yeah.
and our well-being and our physical, and we don't think about, is there a financial part to it?
There's so
People are
many
faced to make
aspects
decisions
it.
about their care because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
And one of the things and I'll say this always to people, if you have catastrophic insurance at work, get it. If it only costs you, yes, it may cost you $30 a month, $60 a month, find it, get it. I had, and it bridges a gap. It's not the Aflac insurance I'm talking about.
Okay.
There's catastrophic insurance and there's hospitalization insurance and you have your health insurance. But then there's insurance that happens like when you get cancer, when you have a stroke, when you have a heart attack. It
I rebuke
is
that in the name
Yeah, I
of
was going to
Jesus.
say, don't people out there.
Because you pointing at people. I rebuke that shit. Like, wait a minute, hold on.
Point in the air. But if you have, it is a monetary insurance that you get, that if your insurance can't pick something up, you have it. And it's not $1,500. It's not $2,000. You can get different ones. It is one of those things. It's like life insurance. One of those things or catastrophic. You hope you never have to use
Right,
it.
yeah.
But it's better to
Right.
have it.
But I got it. I got the diagnosis. I used my insurance. And there were things like, because I went through all of my co-pays. Every time I had a surgery, I had to pay money. Every time I had surgery, I had to pay money. So all of my flexible spending was gone.
Yep.
So now you have to budget for money that you didn't have to budget for.
Right.
So the catastrophic insurance makes up for that difference. And so, okay, I can't go out to dinner because I need to pay this.
Right.
Or it's something that's coming out of your paycheck, so you don't even see it. So you can budget for it not being there. But if you have catastrophic insurance available for you at your job, get it.
And open enrollment
Spell check,
starts
spell check.
soon
Yes.
for Endeavor.
So, and
So I will be looking for
right.
that.
So I'm not,
okay?
we're talking about Brexit, but
Yes.
there's all of these other ancillary things
It
that we
is.
have to think about so that you don't have the stress of how I'm going to pay for something or the stress of who's going to eat or how am I going to eat or how am I going to get to the grocery store because
How am
I
I
was the
get this
person that did all this
medicine?
stuff. Right.
You
So now
know?
that's gone and you can cancel on getting better. You concentrate
Yeah.
on getting better.
I love that.
And so it's just choices that you had to make for yourself. And, you know, as we get older, the people around us are going to get sick because that's a part of life
Yeah.
that we have to now start to deal with.
What you saying? Another
I
story.
always say that our
That's
generation
another
kind
podcast
of
subject.
has this arrested development that we're all in our 30s
Yes.
in our
We
lives
are. Hey.
because we had a good time. But
We're still
We're
having
still having a good time.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
still having a
yeah,
good
we're
time.
still
I just want to, you know,
had to tweak it a little.
right. So, and I'm grateful that we can have this conversation
Yeah.
because, and you don't have to, you have to apologize, but it is that anytime I can tell my story, I do, even if it's a little part,
Yeah.
because you never know. And I always say to everybody, be kind because you do not know what people are going through. And so your minute of kindness, your moment of kindness can help
Yes.
change that
Yes.
person's perspective
Yes.
in that
Yes.
moment and can
Yes.
change the
Yes.
rest of their
Yes.
life. So even when I was going through radiation and you get to know those people because you're
Oh
with them
my
every
God,
day.
my best of friends.
Yes.
My best of friends.
Yeah.
I
You get
miss
to
them
know
so much.
because you're there
It's wild.
every day.
I
Yeah.
miss them so much.
Yeah.
They were the best.
And I remember
Because you're
Like,
sitting there for
yeah.
and they were so
Yeah.
kind.
you see
and
them
loving.
every
Yes.
day.
Yeah, and they
for
see you
20
and-
days,
yeah,
exactly.
25 days.
Yeah.
In very incomparable
Yes.
positions.
Yeah.
And and one of the things I'm researching now is like, okay, when I retire, I want to do mammograms. I want to be I want to do a radiation
Okay.
therapist. It's like,
Okay.
how can I turn this
Yeah.
into
Something.
supporting something?
Yes.
And one of those ideas that came from
Did your
our
light
friend
bulb go
Gracie.
off?
Oh yes.
She said when
so
she
she's
retires,
going,
that's what she wants to do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
But and because it's like, how do I give back?
No,
and be part
yeah.
of here.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not a healthcare person.
Yeah.
I'm not one to want to be in a hospital.
No, well,
but
with
what
that
can I
being
do
said, right?
to-
Like, I think, like, you may not be a healthcare person, or whether it is that you volunteer or you're there in these spaces that these people are. Because, like, when you were describing going to chemo and everybody looks so skinny
right, right.
and just so sad, you know, and same here. I was like, oh, because we had where I was going, it was like the radiation and the chemo,
Yeah,
you
all
know,
in
the
the
fusion.
same place.
Everybody's the same. And I would laugh, and I'm like, I'd walk in, I'd be like, this is where all the cool people hang out.
Right.
This is, you know, these
Yeah.
are, these are,
You're
we're
after
yeah, like, we're like, you know, like
Yes.
You're part of a club that
Yeah.
you don't want to be part
right,
of.
exactly. And there were people
But you're
that were
happy
looking-
you're part of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so just kind of just continuing with that energy just
Yeah.
helps, you know, and like how like not to be, you know, to be positive, but not like a toxic positivity.
Right.
Yeah. Like we're still keeping
We
it
don't
real.
want you to forget
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
going through
Right,
something.
you know,
Right,
like,
right.
and so, but again, when you go through this, you know, and even before, you know, life as, you know, as
Yeah.
you grow and you heal and you know, and I also like to say that because I've endured a lot in my life, that I know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Being calm and cool
Yes.
Yeah.
and positive and no drama and healthy, and that's not something we're always too familiar with.
Right,
We're familiar
exactly.
with all the
Yes.
crazy
Stress
and the
trauma.
chaos and
Yeah.
the stress and trauma,
Yeah.
and like that's the thing that
Yes.
defines us as
Yeah.
a culture and
Yes.
our people or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But no,
Right.
no, like
Yeah.
there's so much more, and
Yes.
because when we say it or we talk about it, I'm not trying to be toxic positive.
Right.
I'm just trying to keep it light. But we could still, you know, get real about the things. But there is, like you said, there's just something in your whatever it is, you know, any kind of illness or overcoming something or
Right.
grief or death, like
Right.
losing a parent, like
Right.
it just is. I've lost both of my parents.
Right.
So it is just this thing that you're like, okay, this switch flips, and you're like, okay, gotta keep it, not just keep it moving, but
living it.
But it kind of
like,
is.
Address it, living it. And then, you know, I
is.
say this to you guys all the
it's
time.
like moving differently. You know, just move
You can
differently.
still feel it.
Yeah.
Understand where it's coming from.
Yeah. You do say
Right?
that.
You sit with it,
And then you say, okay, I understand where it's coming from. Don't try to analyze it.
right, exactly.
Feel where it's coming from in your body.
Let's see.
Are you a meditator?
No. But I do sit in silence a lot. Okay. But then you feel where it's coming from in your body. You recognize it. And I learned this through therapy. You recognize it. Because I remember for her, she goes, Janine, you're crying. She goes, you just can't. I go, I've had all of this. I go, I have not given myself the time to sit
let it go
and grieve and let it go. And that's what she said. Okay, where's it coming from?
Right.
Why are you feeling it? What is it that is driving that for you?
Yeah.
And then once I recognize it, right? And then you say, okay, I see it. I recognize it. I feel it. Feel it.
Yeah.
Have your feelings. I used to stifle my feelings.
Because
so
then
much.
that happens too, is that you are stifling it, you're holding in, you're like you're at home, whatever, you're washing dishes and something happens and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sad. And then you're like, oh no, I can't go there.
That's me.
Stop it, right?
Girl,
And then you
that's me.
stop it, right?
Go
And
there.
you stop
Not
it
more.
and
Go
you
there.
you zip it up and you're like, okay. And you know, no one's even around you. You're just, it's all internally, right?
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, I got it together. And
Yeah.
then you go outside
Mhm.
and then you meet whatever, that person with the dog or something and says, hey Kelda, how you doing?
Yeah.
And you're like, back.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You're like
Or
you
you
lose
snap
it or
off.
you snap off
Yeah,
in a negative way or whatever. And you're just kind of like, oh, but in those moments, like, okay, yeah, you know, I know, yeah, I'm crying, lost and just, I'm crying all day, whatever.
That's what I
you know
say.
what I mean?
That's what I
It
say
is
about
just
me.
kind of like,
my body won't allow me to cry. Like
That's
I
because you're fighting.
That's
the
your
mental.
mind.
it is, and it's been
and
been
I am the
so
I'm
many
the complete opposite.
times
I
that
cry
I've-
for everything.
Me too.
I don't.
Everything.
I cry
Commercials,
for nothing, but I've learned,
TikTok
I've
videos.
learned-
name it.
Oh yeah,
I embrace my cry because
Little House on the
I was
Prairie.
Yeah.
never
It don't matter.
vulnerable like
Yeah.
that. But I think of it now as soul cleansing.
Yes.
So when I cry and I
See.
don't know why I'm crying, it's because I needed to cleanse.
Do it in the shower.
See, I
that way
don't.
you don't recognize.
Yeah, it's the
it.
See,
water hitting your face.
You'll get to it when at some
Well,
point.
I don't. But Jana, was there any?
Yes,
we
but
need
Jen,
to-
she
because
got
we've
cry.
been
Wow,
talking
Jana.
now for it's almost been 2 hours. now.
Yeah, so
Oh
we
my
need
gosh.
to- So Jana,
I
we
didn't
need
dark
say
to.
outside.
nothing. So, so I say this, a couple things.
You got 5 minutes.
Union.
Union, if you're listening, I need to file a grievance, okay? All right, so, when I was 18 years old, I had a tumor removed from my breast. It was benign.
Amen.
And I found it because I did a self-examination and it actually poked out. The biopsy I know about because they stick the needle and try to see if there's fluid in it.
God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that feels like. And the thing that I just vividly remember is the surgeon coming in. I'm awake looking in his face and he pushes down. So now because of that, I'm lopsided. And I think, could he have done that
And at 18.
at 18?
Right.
Could he have done that
Any
maybe a
other
little
way.
differently? I mean,
Yeah.
he's literally pushing on my chest. I'm looking at him like, seriously pushing my, and he puts it in a dish, a metal.
Right.
Yeah.
bowl, and I hear
The
a clink.
petri dish.
Yeah, I hear a clink, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, it
The
scared
specimen
me.
dish.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Of
Yeah.
course, the mental.
That was the 80s.
what is that?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like 30 years
It
ago.
was the 80s.
Yeah.
That was a lot. So
That's
I always
definitely a
think, I had to wear a bra because then I thought,
Yeah.
oh, maybe they'll stay back up, but they don't. 'Cause
Right,
that's part of who
Yeah.
I am. And so I say that because I had to get mammograms starting at 30 because I had it. My grandmother died from it
Just
in 77.
Okay.
77. So they watched me
Uh-huh.
because my mom was skipped.
Right.
and then they watch me. So now when they go, they always see this mass. It's my breast implants,
yeah,
Of course.
and they see a mass.
Of course.
So then I have to go get the ultrasound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, we see a
Every
mass. It
time.
hasn't grown. They measure it.
Right.
Yeah.
It hasn't grown.
Yeah.
We're gonna zero in on it. So it's kind of, I believe about the mental aspect of
Yeah.
it, because one day it's like, were they gonna say that?
Yeah.
Right. Is this
Yes.
mass something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does it look like? You know, so I understand. However, y'all know me. I mean, I share with y'all. I don't share with y'all. I don't come around. I come around,
Mhm.
and they jump on me like panthers. And they're like, okay, bitch.
I'm head
She's head
panther.
panther, and then she coming right behind her, my bestie, and then this one right here, she coming right here too. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing to have that
Yes.
support.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to go underground. If it's in a good underground. If
Mhm.
it's in a bad underground, maybe not so much.
I like the I'm with you.
You
I
know, you
understand
gotta go
underground.
underground sometime. And you need to share. You need to talk. That's my whole thing. Hi. Y'all need to share, and you need to talk to people, because you can't go through things by yourself.
yeah.
We're not built for that. Humans
Yeah.
to have
Yes,
some
they're
sort of a
built- yeah.
conversation, touch,
Yeah.
Right.
something,
No, I agree.
whatever,
Yeah.
and say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if you don't look, if you just want to say, okay, I got something to say to you, and you go like this,
Right.
you know, I'm just feeling.
And I'm also a firm believer too. Like
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
can write it down, write it down.
Send
I'm
a
a-
text. I
yeah.
don't want to talk
Yeah.
about this
Yeah.
right now, but I want to share something
Yeah.
with you, and that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
What it's about.
Yeah.
I'm hearing get your mammograms. Some people
Yes,
don't believe
yes,
in mammograms.
please.
They say you shouldn't because of the medical.
But-
side.
Oh,
Well,
sorry,
right, okay.
Here.
With that being said, you guys all know the story with the MTV VJ.
Yes.
What's her name?
Her name was Ananda Lewis.
Ananda Lewis.
Oh
Yes.
yes, yeah. I don't know the story, but I know.
She
But it is-
decided that she thought that her body, she could heal her body with her mind. She had
Oh.
stage 3 breast cancer
Oh.
when she was in her 40s.
But she also didn't do mammograms
Nope.
because her mom had breast cancer and died of breast cancer.
Right.
So she was deathly afraid of mammograms because
Oh,
she
wow.
felt that her mom's diagnosis was because of the
mammograms.
mammograms. And so she didn't do
Oh,
mammograms
wow.
for years,
Okay.
and then got one, was diagnosed, and then didn't want to do any treatment or
Right.
surgery.
Oh, my
So
God.
before she died, because she just died recently.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
just died recently.
She
Yeah.
said, what did she say? She goes, I was a fool.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I should have been treated.
Wow.
I should have gotten treatment.
Oh,
I think
wow.
we don't, right, and I will say that as minorities, we don't trust healthcare.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because healthcare has been, we've been used as
We have reasons not to
Yes,
trust,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah, we have
yes,
reasons.
yes.
we've
yes,
been
yes.
but also the racism in healthcare is real.
Oh
Yes.
God.
That people were
That's a whole
taught
nother
in school that
podcast.
that our skin is darker, so we don't feel pain the same way.
Yes.
All of those things, but it's science. Science
Yes.
is science,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right? And we
Yeah.
know that a lot of things that were developed by African Americans. We didn't get the credit,
Mhm.
but fine if you don't
And Puerto
trust your
Rican, that whole thing
doctor.
in Puerto
Right.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And then,
Eugenics. Trust. If you find a doctor you trust. If you don't trust your doctor, find another doctor.
Yes.
I'm not saying
Yes.
shop till you get the answer.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Because
Right.
sometimes the answer is exactly the
The
same.
same.
Same, yes.
You ain't gonna get
But
that
find
answer.
Right,
someone
right.
that listens to you,
Yes.
understands your concerns,
Yeah.
and will answer your question.
Right. And that alone makes the journey
Yes.
Yes.
So much.
so much easier,
Yeah.
so much like when you have those people that are just there. And going back to what you're saying about like going to be a radiation tech or a mammogram tech or whatever, the same thing. When you go there, you don't want the tech like that you had that was like, you know,
Oh,
right.
roughing
That
you up
saved her life.
well,
Yeah.
no, but I guess it did save her life too because
But
we
in
had
the
the
end-
same shame.
I didn't say anything
Yeah.
either. I could have said, "Oh, that hurts."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Or the person that pushed on you
That's
at
right.
that
Yeah.
moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
like,
you
is
know,
this how we
I mean,
do it?
obviously, we've come a long way,
We have.
but bedside manner
It's
and
big
support is a
important.
very big.
It's
But
important.
also
It's
understand
important.
Yes.
Yes.
that surgeons are not comedians.
Yeah.
So if you want to joke with your surgeon right before your surgery, they're probably not going to.
Yeah.
They
Well,
got
you're
your life
also
in your
on
hands.
drugs,
Yeah.
so I
Right.
think
They
that
have-
that's when most people want a drug while you're
I've
like
done
out there
that.
telling all the
I've
jokes.
done that
Right.
right before colonoscopy.
So
you
Right,
see
yeah.
that tattoo back there? It's new. It's new.
Yeah,
Speaking
that
of
kind of talk.
So it is. It's just that. It's
Oh my
just
God,
that
hilarious.
they have serious jobs.
I did, seriously.
And it's your-
I believe it. I believe it.
And
I've
just,
only
you
known
know,
you 3 weeks, girl.
So
I believe it.
Nobody doubted that.
No, I
Nobody.
do have a question.
Yes.
And we're gonna have to close. So
Yeah,
sorry.
because we're
Yeah.
almost
I
at
do
2
have a
hours.
question. So this could be the final thought. Do you feel like you see cancer treatments of
America.
Cancer
Yeah.
treatments of America? Do you feel like because they do all of this, that's what they focus on, that's the hospital, it's built around this whole cancer treatment? Do you feel like you would get a different level of care? Do you feel like that Endeavor or I don't know other ones,
I don't know.
Loyola Medical?
Advocate.
Well, yeah, I don't.
Northwestern.
Do you feel like I'm just asking because
I
do you
don't
feel
want to
like that-
disparage any hospital or any other hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But
that,
you know that, in the end, I think it's more about your individual
Exactly.
care team.
Exactly.
There's a lot of money in cancer.
Okay,
Yes,
Right.
that's
Cancer
yes.
drugs
And that's
cost
the
a lot.
problem.
Yes.
That's the problem.
The American health system is a for-profit system.
Yes.
And so you have that aspect. Capitalism is still intertwined in our health
Everything,
system.
yes.
But you have different hospitals. Well, you want because it is like hospitals are nonprofit. Although Cancer Treatment Centers of America was a for-profit hospital,
Yes, it was.
They're called City of Hope now.
Yes.
And but I won't talk about them on camera.
Yeah, do you
But
see?
I
I'm
will
quiet
tell-
on this
yes,
whole.
I will tell you guys stories
Endeavor
off of
advocate
Yes.
thing.
But-
yeah,
It is more because the cancer drug is exactly the same at
Wherever.
Northwestern as it is at Endeavor,
Exactly.
right? What's different is your treatment,
Right.
Okay.
is your how
The
you are
bedside
treated by
manners,
your
day
health
by day,
care
right, yes,
provider
Yes.
and what you are comfortable with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also know that, and my friend said, she goes, I feel like I'm being experimented on because sometimes with cancer,
Mm-hmm.
you are. Because
You are.
we both had breast cancer,
Yes.
but our care is different.
yeah.
Because we had DCIS, but my cancer was a little further.
Yes.
You have medicines are developed for different indications.
Yes,
and now
yes,
I'm
yes.
getting all specific. But breast
Like
cancer drug and liver cancer drug are not the same drug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, because they're getting at different things.
Yeah.
You have chemotherapy, which is really a cool thing, because chemotherapy is the drug that treats the cancer.
Yes.
You have immunotherapy, which is the drug that they put in your body to teach your body
But yes,
to fight the cancer.
cancer.
Okay.
Which is immunotherapy has come a long way. And that's what just within the last 10, 15
Mhm.
years, right? It takes a lot of years to bring a drug to
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
market,
Yeah.
right? FDA charges pharmaceutical companies over $500,000 million just to put in the application
Wow.
because health authorities are funded by the people that bring the things to them.
Yes.
So on top of that, you have to do research.
Right.
You have to test your drug on
Yes, you do.
people,
Yes, you do.
right? And
Yeah,
so
it's cool.
with cancer drugs, you have to, some people who are part of these studies do not get the drug. You have to,
Yeah.
because you have to show what
Placebos.
happens if nothing happens
Yeah.
or something
Yes.
happens.
Yes.
So you can tell
Yeah.
if you're getting the drug because you're getting
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you're
the
not,
placebo.
Yeah.
right? So cancer, it's always going to be a crapshoot sometimes.
No,
Right? Like I had thyroid cancer. Easiest cancer to treat because they take out your thyroid and its cancer is gone. Although I had to have radiation
Yeah.
and all that. So with that being said, it's like you have to trust and feel good about the care you're getting.
Mhm.
Not
No.
necessarily where you're getting the
Right.
care.
Yeah.
I
Because my
agree.
mom got care in a little hospital.
Yeah.
Right? But that's where she was. She still got good care
Yeah.
at the time. Her cancer metastasized to her liver.
Yeah.
It was breast cancer. It wasn't liver cancer. And I think that's what
Right.
people don't understand. Once you have your tumors have markers
Mm-hmm.
that show
Yes.
you. So even though I had thyroid cancer, when I got breast cancer, my cancer did not come back. I got a new
Right,
cancer.
exactly.
And so that's, I think, what people have to understand is ask questions.
Yes.
Bring people with you to your appointments.
Yes.
Ask your care provider if you can record.
Right.
Yeah.
Record,
The
take
appointment.
notes.
Yes.
Ask
Yeah.
all
If
the
they don't want to
questions.
answer your questions, if they feel, hesitant about being recorded, find a new doctor.
Yes.
Right. That's where. Right.
Yeah.
That's where you.
That's where you get
Because
a
the
about the
radiation is
care.
going to be the same.
Yeah.
The medicine's going to be the
Yeah.
same.
It's
Yeah.
like a teachers that are in it for the money person,
Yep.
as opposed to teachers who are in it for the,
For the-
children.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you
Yep.
have a caregiver that's in there because they care about you
Mhm.
versus they care about making money,
Right.
it makes
Right.
a world of
Yeah.
difference.
So, and
It
I always
does.
just say, go to a teaching hospital.
You got somebody, Jana?
Yes, Linda Powell says, certainly enjoying this
That's
pod.
my
I am
cousin.
Linda
Aw.
Powell, Jerome's cousin.
Yeah, that's
I found lumps in my left breast. One was benign, one was cancer. It was triple negative. Had surgery,
That's a rough one.
chemo, radiation last year.
Oh
Worked
my God, this is
through
recent. I didn't know that.
everything. So far, so good. I
Yay.
thank you, ladies.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
cousin, yes.
No, and
Yes.
triple negative.
That's a rough one.
I still don't understand ERPR, HER, triple negative. Triple
I don't
negative, it
understand
means
none of
that triple negative cancer means that it doesn't, nothing marks it.
Right.
Oh.
Like where the hormone positive is what I was.
They can say,
diagnosed
oh, you
with
got
this stuff.
hormones. So the cancer has attached itself to your hormones. Triple negative means
Oh.
everything they tested came back. It is the most aggressive.
Oh my
It is
God.
more prevalent in African American women.
Yes.
I think
Oh,
that's
God.
almost the same.
And so and triple negative, they come at it.
Yes.
They have different, and there's different drugs for triple negative versus ERPR positive.
Yes.
And so that's the one thing that I will like kind of end with is educate yourself. Don't be
Everything.
afraid,
Yeah,
because
ask
people say, well, I
questions
don't
and
want
all
to
that.
know if something's going to happen to me. But if something's going to happen to you that you can correct, then you should know.
Yeah.
But educate yourself so
Yeah.
that when you go into your appointments, you can ask
Mm-hmm.
The right
questions.
Yep.
Ask what is going to happen. Take someone with you. Take your caregiver with you. Let your caregiver ask, how do
Yeah.
I care for this person?
Yeah.
What is going to
Right,
happen?
yeah.
How do I do this?
Yeah.
Involve the people around you
Yeah.
No, very important.
Yeah.
so that you don't feel alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they don't feel alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Because with
Yeah.
cancer,
Right.
your
Yeah.
caregiver cannot control what is happening to
No,
you.
Yeah.
for sure.
And if it's someone that really loves you, they don't want you to go through and feel the pain. They will take it upon themselves if
Yes.
they can.
Yeah.
So be cognizant of that. Understand that they have a process that they need to fight through as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And be empathetic to them sometimes.
Yeah.
As well as them being empathetic to you.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I have to remember is because there were just days that I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to talk about anything. I didn't want your advice.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause like
Why don't you do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that.
That
on a good
face.
day.
I don't want to hear from you. I don't want your advice. I don't need your advice
Yeah.
today. I just need you. Parker used to just sit in the couch and we'll watch TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just need to hear you breathing
Yeah.
in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Or just like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
yeah, just
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it. And so just know that, even if your person doesn't acknowledge it, your presence makes a big deal, is a big deal to them. If it's people that can't express themselves, no, you just being there makes a whole
Yeah.
lot of difference.
Yeah,
And,
it
I always say,
That
I
is
don't know
so true.
how people who are alone would go through this, how they go through it
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and with that being said, cut it short. But I had a friend when I was telling my friends and I was, calling people up and telling them a story. My one friend who's a nurse and works at a hospital, she said, oh, I have this other friend that I don't know. She said, oh, she's experiencing she just went through the same thing and had surgery or whatever. And I hadn't had the surgery. I was just diagnosed, right? So I was just telling my friends. And so she's telling me that she just had a friend that went through the surgery, going through the treatments right now. And so my question to her was, how's she doing? Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Right.
And she was like, Jennifer, she's not doing so well.
Uh,
And I said,
Oh,
I said,
wow.
but no, the reason, but this is why I'm saying it is not like she's not doing so well because of cancer or whatever.
Mentally.
Mentally,
Uh-huh.
because she didn't talk about it. She's like, I don't
Yeah.
think that she's like, Jennifer, you sound so good and
Yeah.
so positive.
Yes.
And she's like, and
Yes.
you're ready and you sound grounded.
Yeah.
She's like, this other friend, I don't think that, she's not doing that, and it's hard for her to share and so she's holding it in, and she's like, and as her friend, I'm trying to support her, but I see that
Can't get fear cut off.
yeah.
Cut off.
right, yeah. And so that's it's so important.
Yeah.
And that's right. And so that was also interesting to me with,
Yeah.
and like, in my new of the journey, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not going to happen.
Right,
I gotta go. No,
I talk to people on the street. I'm
yeah,
talking
exactly. I mean, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Kelda's my new BFF.
Right.
That's good.
So it's about
Exactly.
sharing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's about sharing.
Sharing is
What's she looking at
caring.
me? Oh, me.
Sharing.
Sharing is
Oh.
caring.
And
Because
being
to your
vulnerable.
point, we are getting older.
Yes.
And we are going to experience some health challenges.
Yeah.
Whatever those health challenges are, we have to be prepared. I'm not putting a name to it,
Right.
but
Right,
we're
of
going to
course.
experience
Yeah.
some health challenges. And thank you all for sharing about your knees and your joints, because sometimes I feel like when I'm walking up the steps, oh, come on, my knees hurt. So now I know. Thank you so much
Yes,
about
yes.
the post-menopause.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm in menopause. So thank
Okay.
y'all, TV land, y'all. Sharing, okay?
Not TV land.
So I say, just remember to share.
Yes, and get your annual
Yes.
mammogram.
Annual
Mammogram.
mammogram.
Oh, can I
Yeah.
do that?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
touch your boobies.
if you
Yes.
need
Yes,
to.
touch your
And really touch 'em.
boobies.
Touch 'em.
So look,
Touch
read
'em.
my shirt. Can you read my shirt?
Sisters don't let sisters fight cancer alone.
Thank
Breast
you.
Yes.
cancer awareness.
Yes.
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 So do that.
Yes.
So
All
yes.
Okay, so
Final
we're gonna
words.
close out.
Yes.
So
Thank you
yes,
so much
many
for
words.
having me. This was
I
Thank you
really
all for
enjoyed
sharing.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing, because I know for some people that's hard. Me, I tend to overshare a lot sometimes. So I appreciate you all sharing, because it's important to me. I've had people in my family that have had breast cancer, and it's turned into all these other things. So that's why breast cancer is like my thing. Like, I like to talk about it and make jokes. Like when I go have my mammogram, I go live. Like, I'm here getting my boobies smashed,
Yes.
and all those things, because you just never know that one time you might somebody that is 40 and they never had one. 50
No,
was, I think it was
no,
you, and
no.
then they go and get one because they see the silly
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's important, and and not just about breast cancer, but your body.
Yeah.
And when your body is telling you something is not quite right, get
Listen.
it checked out.
Believe
Get it checked
and
out.
trust yourself.
Get it checked out.
Believe
Get it
and
checked
trust
out.
Nobody
yourself.
knows you like you.
Exactly.
Right.
So I would ask you all, as we're closing out, to go to my YouTube page. It's under the link. Under the videos. And like and subscribe. We
Yes.
want all the subscribers.
Woo-hoo.
And also, so I don't have Barb here to do the little messages behind the camera and stuff, but she always wants me to say and put a little plug in. So my podcast, of course, is under the whole umbrella of Adlek Sirrah Events LLC. And
Slower.
that's when
Right.
we do a lot of things. We have the event planning and the brunches. I mix up cocktails, which is one of my favorite things, but right. But one of the biggest things that I keep saying that has become like one of my real big babies is the empowerment and the ladies empowerment brunches. So much to the point that I have decided to turn my annual birthday celebrations into empowerment brunches, because it's important to me. And I'm going to spend money to celebrate my birthday. That's the Leo in me.
Awesome.
So I'm going to flip it and put it towards a good cause.
Okay.
So,
So-
can you say that name a little slower
Yes.
next time?
Oh, okay. So Adlek Sirrah Events,
Oh, thank you.
LLC,
Thank you.
which is actually Kelda Harris spelled backwards.
Thank you.
For those that don't know.
Thank you.
So yeah, so reach out with anything. We are actually planning. I'm so excited. My son's 30th birthday.
Yes.
So So we are excited. We are in the planning stages, and this one is a big deal in a short amount of time. So I'm saying that to say I can help you with your planning, whether it's a few weeks out, a few months out, or a year out, however. So we can get it done. We can get it done. It might be a little stressful, but it'll get done. It'll be nice.
we just talked about it. We are stress free.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, it'll get intense.
We'll take the stress off.
It'll get intense. It'll get intense.
But it will get done and well.
And yes, it'll get
And
done.
well.
It'll be nice. You'll be satisfied. All those things.
So-
If you need a special signature cocktail, let me know.
Yeah.
What? You gotta.
Thank you for this, Kelda and Krew, Maria.
Maria Lynn.
Yes, Maria
Okay.
Lynn.
Yay, Maria
Kimberly
Lynn.
Spain gave 4 double hearts.
Oh,
thank
that's
you.
big sis.
Maria Lane said, "I see you, Jennifer girl."
Hey, Maria.
She's right there in
Hey,
TV.
There you go.
It's
Right there in
TV
TV. So again, I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I know it's been long. I knew it was going to be long because we try to stay within an hour, but I knew this one was not going to be within an hour. And we've been good because we've been timing each other. And Janine, when she sat down, she's like, "Okay, are we doing a timer?" And I'm like, "No, I kind of want to just let this one go and see what happens." So I know it's a long time. If you tuned in, jumped off, got back in, however, watch it later,
Yep.
all those things. But it's important, support your people with their health, mental and physical, because we
Yes.
forget about the
Yes,
mental.
yes.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yes.
Okay. So just, support your people, check out when your body is telling you something, get it checked out. And get those mammograms, because again, it's the mother of many, not all, but it's the mother of many. So, just have your mammograms, have your testing and all that stuff. And thank you for tuning in. We
Thanks,
appreciate you
guys.
all. And now it's time to sip and eat. Sip and eat.
Oh yeah.
Peace out.
Okay,
I'm looking
And
at
wait. End it. End it.
Let me see. This guy's taking